closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hanson. I'm here with the Tuckster, Dave Tuckman. It's Tuesday. Now, that normally means it's going to be 300 to 500, no limit hold'em, but tonight,
forget about that.
Because the winning of the green tournament's going on, we're going to do 10, 20, 1,000 min, unrestricted buy-in, big time stuff.
It's our normal Friday game, but it's Tuesday, folks.
That's right, and there's a lot of chips on the table, and we're going to see a lot of new faces because the tournament has brought a lot of new people into the casino. So let's get to it.
Yeah, that's what the exciting thing about it. It's like our Friday show, but with all new faces.
Let's go around and introduce the table.
Let's do it. We've got Glenn in seat number 1. He likes to be called Heavy, so we'll call him Heavy.
That's his nickname? Okay.
There he is, the Heavy. In seat number 2, we've got Raid, and Raid is coming off an unbelievable LA Poker Classic. He actually had 7 final tables.
Dave, I actually used to be called Heavy B when I was younger, when I was a little kid.
Heavy B?
Yeah.
I'm okay. I like that. Heavy B. Yo, I'm here with, we're on Live at the Bike. I'm Tuckster, here with Heavy B. That's good. Okay. Seat number 3, we've got Gil. Gil, also a big tournament player in his own right. He plays a lot of he's kind of the king of that $300 buy-in tournament. Seat number 4, folks, we've got Eli. And that is not Eli Ezra, but it's Eli in his own right. Seat number 5, we've got Jack. And Jack is another tournament player, folks.
Yep.
Plays a lot of tournaments, follows the circuit around the country. Seat number 6, we've got Nader. And Nader we've seen on the show a number of times. He'll play any game from, like, say, 3 to 500 all the way up to here. Interesting player. Seat number 7, we've got Seth. And I've seen Seth once or twice. I don't know why. I recognize him really well.
Yeah, he's played, he's a limit player, Dave. I've actually seen him play in limit games before.
Well, there you go. Look at this. Last night, actually, Seth Norden in seat number 7 actually came in second place in our limit hold'em tournament and took in about $10,000.
Great.
So I guess he's trying to parlay that $10,000 into a big win tonight. Seat number 8, we've got Chuck. And Chuck's a real solid player, like I said earlier last week. He's in for the tournament. And in the satellite where I won my World Series of Poker main event seat, he was sitting to my left and also won a seat. And seat number 9, we've got a familiar face. We've got the Greek poker god. We've got Voodoo George. There he is.
Cast the voodoo spell on himself. Voodoo, bad beats away, and it seemed to have worked recently here for him. We're going to get into the first hand of the night here. We're playing 10, 20, no limit hold'em. The brown chips are $10 chips. And the white chips are 100.
And George is going to raise it up with Queen 10.
Yep. Well, actually, you know what? I think George bet in position with Queen 10. It was checked to him. He bet.
Oh, okay. I thought he raised it.
He's going to get called by Gil with a weak king, and Chuck, who's got a gut shot to the queen, turns a deuce, and Gil still has the best hand.
Yeah,
there.
actually, Chuck's open end is a double gutter there.
That's right.
An 8 would have given him a straight as well.
And George is really going to bet. He's going to bet the pot here again, 220. He's going to put a weak king here in the blind, which is what Gil has in the small blind, to the test right now.
Well, you know what? Normally, Gil might be able to call if Chuck hadn't called behind.
Right.
But with a caller behind, Gil's got, he's got a pair of kings to 3, and that's it. And I think he's going to get rid of it.
Yep.
He does.
Get rid of it. And like you said, Chuck is actually double-gutted, 8 or queen, and it's rainbow still here. Well, there's 2 diamonds now on the turn.
I got to say, I call this because it's so well hidden. The pot is about $330. Actually, the pot is almost $550, $220 to call. I'm only getting about 2.5 to 1 on my money, but I've got to think that there are some implied odds if I hit my 8 or my queen.
Well, you also take a look at it, and, maybe George has some piece of that flop with a queen, and he did. Maybe king, queen, in this case, queen 10, right?
Yeah, and it's just, you don't see it.
Yeah.
Because everybody always goes, well, wait a second, that's a gut shot. You don't see that double gutter. I think those are the kind of hands you really make money on in no limit hold'em.
Of course, if you want to keep this show interactive, you can email us at liveatthebike.com, spelled out. You can also follow a live thread that start on the internet. Go to 2plus2.com. Go over to forums under Tournament Poker, World Poker Tour, etc. Live at the Bike thread for March 7. And Greek poker god there, George, is going to raise it up here to 100. He's got ace-queen suited. And Gil is going to call. He is dominated with a suited wheel card, suited ace-4 of spades. And we're going to see it heads up. Now, Gil has position on George. It's going to be about a $230 pot here as we go to the flop heads up. Well, it misses both players. See how this one plays out. Looks like George is going to make a continuation bet here.
Yeah, George is in great shape here, but
Flop was king 8-3 with 2 diamonds. He's going to bet 140. And Gil really doesn't have much here. He's got backdoor spades.
yeah, I mean, if he makes a play here, it's literally just making a play.
Yeah. And Gil is going to get away from it. George just looks like he's going to win the first 2 hands of the night.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I love the way George played last hand there. Really putting the pressure on a weak king.
Well, sometimes you get stuck in there if you're in the blinds with weak king. Okay, you check king 3 once, the guy bets, and then you call, and then you hope that the guy might check the turn. But if he puts in another big bet in there, and if the guy's good enough in possession like George, George might know that he's behind. He probably didn't think he had the best hand there with queen 10.
Yeah, I have to think he doesn't think it's
Right.
right. there. No way.
Right.
When you bet $80 on the turn, on the flop, and you
Right.
get called in 2 spots?
Right.
You know, maybe one of them have a draw, but the other guy have though.
We're going to see a live straddle here by seat 7. That means it's going to be $20 to call. Excuse me, $40 to call. And he's going to have the option when it comes back around to him. I can see pocket queens here for seat 1. That's Glenn, heavy. And heavy's just going to limp in here, Dave, in middle position with queens. In a straddled pot, sometimes I like to loosen up my raises, and he's going to see this multi-way here. Many overcards, we see a bunch of aces out in a king. And we're going to see 6-way action. It's already a $240 pot. Heavy, kind of slow-playing queens over there. Flop comes jack 8-7. Couple spades. I like better flops with an overpair. And now seat 7's going to come out and bet. Seth, he's going to come out and bet with middle pair. And if your queen's here, how do you play it? Well, he's just going to make the call. Maybe see what happens.
We'll see what the players behind him do, maybe.
Gil is going to fold. Eli doesn't have any piece of this. He's probably going to
Well,
fold.
he's got a gut shot with the ace of spades.
Oh,
He's got an overcard and a gut shot,
Yeah.
plus the ace of spades. You think, oh, you know what?
It will be a one-liner there to a
Yeah,
straight, but he
exactly.
does make the call. And here we go to the turn. The turn is another jack, and that can't make Glenn feel good, even though his hand is still good here. And Seth is going to leap out again.
Well, you know what? I mean,
He bets 100. Only a $100 bet, Dave.
yeah, kind of a weak bet there.
Queens call again. And this is a time, sometimes you see like a player like Mo with a hand as weak as ace-9. He might come over the top and raise there in that spot. The river's a 4. And Seth now is going to bet 200. And that's probably going to just get a call here from
You
Glenn.
wonder if Seth is betting this almost like a value bet if he thinks he has the best hand with king 8.
But Queens are going to take it down there. Really,
I mean, the
Glenn-
bet on the river was really odd. It was almost like he was. You wonder if Seth really thought he had the best hand and was betting for value.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, because $200 is not going to get anybody off the hand, the real hand that is.
Might be kind of what we talk about, someone like a defensive bet or a little stop bet, because, that board was pretty draw heavy.
Right.
Instead of checking and maybe calling a bet that you don't want to call on the river, he might throw out a bet and, kind of dissuade people from
Right.
from calling or raising there in that spot.
Well, if you're betting into a jack,
Yeah.
even if the guy has, say, if he has, say, jack 10, it's really tough for him to re-raise you there.
Ace-queen here for Gil. He's going to bring this one in, and we're going to see it straddled again here. So, again, this hand we're playing basically $40 in the big blind. And actually, you know what? Gil just linked in there, Dave. 1 off the cutoff with ace-queen. And now Eli is going to make it 180 with pocket 8s.
Yeah,
So-
Gil doesn't like to raise too much pre-flop. He really likes to see a lot of flops. One thing I've noticed about his game.
Well, he's going to make the call. And he's on a position here.
Out of position with ace-queen, tough way to play the hand here.
But a $400 pot as we go to the flop heads up. Eli, the pre-flop raiser. Well, that is not the card you want to see if you have ace-queen. King 7-7. That is actually the worst card you can possibly
The
see,
problem
right?
is Gil's got no information about his hand here. I mean, he could be up against ace-jack. He could be up against king-queen.
Look
He
at
has
this.
no idea.
Eli bets 200 and Gil calls. Well, the turn's a 9. This is going to be interesting. And Eli does not bet the turn. Gil gets a free card as we go to the river, and Eli's hand is good right now.
Now, let's see what he does here.
And Eli's going to come out and
Actually,
bet.
Gil bets.
Excuse me. Gil's going to come out and bet 500 here, about a little bit under the pot. The pot is about 800. So Gil's bet 500. It's a $1,300 pot, 500 to call. Now for Eli, somebody might play ace-king the same way, and I think with ace-king, if you've played the hand the same way, you have to call here. But he can't beat the king, he can't beat the 9, obviously can't beat the 7.
So the only thing you're wondering, though, is, wait a second now, if Gil had ace-king, why didn't he raise in the cutoff seat?
Right.
So you go there. Now, certainly we see Gil did not raise with ace-queen. So if I'm playing this in my head, I go, maybe Gil doesn't have ace-king.
Could he have limped in something like king-jack or king-10 and then bet the river, or would he have checked it there?
Yeah, you wonder. It's the classic, he either has a monster or he's bluffing here. But he could be betting king-queen. Definitely could have king-queen.
Well, again, the flop is really not that draw-heavy. And look at this. Pocket eights are going to make the call.
Yeah, good call by Eli there.
And he's going to take it down there. Boy, that is a tough call in the river because you put yourself in that spot on the turn. Again, look at the flop, Dave, the texture of it. What would Gil smooth call with? Check call on the flop with?
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I mean, you wonder what kind of hand might he call the flop with, yet bet the river. Because if he had pocket 5s or pocket 6s, he probably is not betting there. He's probably hoping it just gets checked down, right?
Right.
And hoping you missed. Give credit to Eli there. Nice call. And he takes down about an $1,800 pot. We are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman, and I'm here with Heavy B.
Well, Eli's got ace-king suited now, Dave, so 2 big hands here back-to-back for him. And this time we're not going to see a straddle. George usually does not straddle that often, right, in this game. Open limp here from Glenn up front with Jack-9 of spades, and I expect Eli to raise here again. And he does.
And let's see how much he raises here.
100.
Makes it 100.
He's going to make it 100. Again, this bot was not straddled.
Right,
so
last raise was 150.
he actually made it 180.
Did he make it 180?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But it was a straddled pot, so...
A little bit over 4 times the straddle.
Chuck is going to make the call here. I actually won about a $2,000 pot from Chuck earlier in the afternoon in the 5-10 game. And
What did you think of Chuck's game?
We're going to see about a $300 pot here going 3 ways. Oh,
There's the king.
King for Eli. And look at this, the same double gutter here for Jack-9.
Exactly.
King 10-7.
An 8 or a queen will hit it. And this is one of those times where, once again, it is well deceived. 2 diamonds out there, it's not quite as strong.
Now, could Glenn make a call and represent diamonds and actually make his hand represent, the 14 outs instead of just 8 outs?
Yeah, I think he definitely can.
See the turn card here.
Well, there it is.
There's the turns the queen right
And
there.
that's a perfect card for you there.
And he checks it. And now if you're Eli with 1 pair, we talk about pot control here in deep stacked games.
600.
And he's going to bet 600 here, Dave.
Well, he's not. He doesn't want to go for the pot control.
He's betting the pot here, and it's a $1,200 pot. The only thing that Glenn could lose to right now is ace-jack. And Glenn is going to make the check raise.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much. I mean, think here. Now, he raises here. What can you beat? You can't beat. Obviously, you can't beat a straight. You can't beat ace-jack. You can't beat jack-9. You can't beat king-queen. You can't beat queen-10.
14 gold.
Could he do this move with something like queen-jack, a big semi-bluff, maybe queen-jack of diamonds, or just a dry
I think
queen-jack?
he could. I definitely think. Actually, queen-jack there.
Yeah.
So, he's open-ended now. He's picked up a pair. Yes, he could make this move.
And he's going to raise it up here, it looks like 800 more. So it's going to be 800 back to seat number 4 there, Eli. And now the pot, Dave, is about $2,600, 800.
I mean,
for
couldn't he
Eli
make
to
this
call.
move with, say, king-jack of clubs?
No,
Picked up
right.
a club draw. Say, there are a lot of hands he could have made this move with. I'm not sure if Heavy is the type of player that will make moves or not. I don't know him well enough.
Now, as you can see here, Glenn is a huge favorite. The only reason why Eli is not drawing dead is because they could catch a jack to... Excuse me, no, Eli could actually catch a jack to win the
Yeah.
pot.
Jack wins the pot.
Yeah.
Everything else, and Glenn wins. I mean, I think it's a pretty easy laydown here for Eli, I got to tell you. Not only do you only have 1 pair, you got to remember it's only 1 pair. Man, if this guy does have something like king-jack of clubs, man, he's certainly drawn live.
I'm always a proponent, Dave. We talked about whether he should have checked the turn or bet the turn. I actually like the bet because with a more vulnerable hand here, I want to get the information. You're going to bet, you get check raise play, then you can fold. If you check the turn, you have no idea where you're at on the river,
Yeah.
especially if, straight card. And look at this, ace-king moves all in over the top.
And Glenn's
he
obviously gonna
needs
call.
a 3-outer here. He needs a jack and a jack. Oh, the river is a jack!
Oh, that's so
what
ugly.
A horrible beat.
Oh, that is so ugly.
Unbelievable.
Oh, that is so ugly.
Wow. And that pot is going to be over probably 4. He went all in for $1,800, Dave. So he makes the call. That makes it a $3,400 pot. Then he goes in for $1,800. That means it's $5,200. And if Glenn covers him, it's a $7,000 pot. I'm doing the math out, right? $7,000.
Yeah, that's just an ugly.
Wow.
I mean, I got obviously clearly Eli. He badly overplayed his ace king. Caught a 3-outer to win the pot, and we're talking a $7,000. That is a $7,000 jack of hearts.
12, 14, 16,
Man.
18.
I mean, I love the way, and I got to tell you, I love the way Glenn played the hand in seat 1. I love the way he played the hand.
That's unbelievable.
He got Eli to put all of his money in with with only 3 outs. Oh man, that's just.
Well, again, to play a little devil's advocate, for you there. Big time no limit players might say, well, I read the guy as having a pair and a big draw, and I think I had the best hand. But at the same time, boy.
Yeah, like you always say, you got to put somebody in a range of hands,
Yeah.
okay? So maybe 50% of the time he's got a pair with a huge draw, and the other 50% of the time you're drawing to 3 outs.
And then again, that 50% of the time that he has a pair and a huge draw, another 50% of that 50% you're going to lose with the river card coming, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's.
I mean, if you put the guy, let's say you put the guy on king jack of clubs, okay? Well,
Right.
any ace or any 9, give him a straight, okay?
Yeah.
Any club gives him. I mean, he's got any king. I want to say this guy's got 19 outs.
Right.
He's probably about a 44% chance of winning the hand anyway with king jack of clubs.
Unbelievable.
Man. I mean, hey, obviously Eli just didn't read him right, but we talk about it all the time. Ace king there, it's only top pair. It's one pair.
When you talk about deep stack no limit hold'em, one pair is not usually going to win you a big hand. It's not usually going to be good. One pair in deep stack no limit.
Man, queens for seat 5 here.
Yeah.
Jack's got him.
I mean, deep stack is totally different. Dave, I got to tell you, when I play in the 5-10 and I buy in for 1,300, that's not really deep stack.
Not at all. No, you're right. 100%.
This is
I
some
don't
of these
consider
guys
that
are
deep stack.
deep stack. It's a different strategy.
Deep stack is more like you buy in for 1,300, you double up, then you win another hand, and suddenly you've got 3,400, 3,500 in a 5-10 game. That's deep stack.
Jack here made a raise. He made it 120. He's going to get called in 2 spots here, so we're going to see about a $400 pot here. Jack 10-10. Well, queens are good. Oh, look at this. Glenn flops trick 10s.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I mean, it is somewhat of a scary board for Jack. I mean, he's got to realize that there's a chance somebody's got a 10. But I love this. Glenn is going to bet right into it.
Well, actually, you know what? No, actually, Jack bet 100, and Glenn is moving all in. He's on the short stack here, Dave. I don't know how much he's got there.
And Jack needs a 10 and only
Jack
a 10.
made the call. Turns a deuce, and the river's a 4. Jack actually needed a queen there to win it, and it did not come.
What did I ask for?
10.
Oh, 10, right.
Yeah.
10 obviously would not have been good. Thank you. Sorry. Man. And look at that. Now he doubles up.
Wow.
Lucky they didn't have enough money.
Yeah, she just cost him about 5,000.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, you talk about the difference between winning and losing a pot. Yeah, you would have only won $3,500, but it's actually a $7,000 swing, that Jack, because
Oh, of course.
I'd have $7,000, now I have 0.
Well, once the money is in the pot, it's not your money anymore.
Right.
Once you put it out there, it is the pot's money.
Right,
okay?
right.
It is not owned by you. It's gone.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. Follow
Now, you
live
talk about
thread.
deep stack. Sorry to interrupt you there. You talk about deep stack. Now, let's say you only have 1,300 or 1,500 there. Okay, now the guy checks to you again and you bet 600. Well, now you've only got 400 left. You're not going anywhere. I mean, you're getting 4-1 on your money. You're going to call for your last 400. But if you have 1,800 more, it's totally different.
Seat 5 made a raise here with ace-queen suited. He made it 150 to go. Seat 1 is going to call with a suited connector here. I don't know if he's rebought, but he's got 8-10 of spades. And Gil's in there with trouble hand, king-queen offsuit. Well, getting word that Glenn did not rebuy, and he's going to come out and bet here 9-6-8. He's got a pair and a gut shot.
Well, he's hit the best hand by far, so.
What I was going to say, though, is if you don't rebuy, what's really the point of calling there with 8-10 of spades?
Well, I think right now he's just looking to gamble a little bit.
Right.
See if he can kind of parlay this into $400 or $500 and see if he can move it up.
Dave, there was actually a hand on Sunday afternoon. You were watching me play, and we weren't really that deep stack. And I had raised it up with ace jack, and you were sitting there in the 5-10 game. And a guy had actually smooth called me with kings.
Right.
And the flop came jack high. He bet, I raised. The turn kind of came a blank. It might have given a straight. He moved all in for 700. The pot is now 1,700. I have to call with ace-jack there, right?
It's a real, yeah, it's tough,
Yeah.
tough spot to get away from there, obviously.
Right.
Especially, I remember the board, actually. The board was like Jack 2, 3, 4.
Right.
You know, it was like,
Yeah.
you're looking at it going, wait a second, did he call my raise with ace-5 and then call my bet on the flop with ace-5? It just didn't make any sense. You thought it almost looked more like he had, say, king-jack or queen-jack or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. Maybe
yeah.
picked up a different draw, maybe a spade
Right.
draw. I think the 4 on the turn brought a second spade out there.
So again, it was a situation where I couldn't really get away from it.
No, you only had, exactly, it was 700 to win 1,700.
Right,
You're getting,
right.
more than almost 2.5 to 1 on your money.
And look at this. George now is gonna. Does George move in here?
No, that's actually good.
Oh, excuse
Glenn.
me, not George. Excuse me. B there. Glenn's gonna move in with.
Look at the best
nothing.
hand again.
Yeah, he's got queen jack, and he's gonna take it down. Well, now he's got some chips there. It looks. Well, now he's kind of playing dangerous because he just bet, Dave. I mean, he might be steaming. Looked like he just bet about $800 into a $100 pot.
No,
there.
I actually like the
Queen
bet.
jack.
I mean, I think he wants. I mean, maybe he is steaming. I'm not
Right.
sure. I don't know him that well. But right now he's got the. People might think he's steaming, and maybe somebody calls him with, say, second pair there. Now he actually had top pair there, and I think the overbet was on purpose. Well, he's got the button now, and he's got 5-7 of hearts. Let's see how he plays it on the button.
I wouldn't mind making the money. I wish he would.
Well, the action is on.
What a killer river there, man. Jeez. So that's what happens in No Limit Hold'em. You got to realize that some people can say, well, I can buy in for $5,000 because I'm not going to really gamble that much. You never know. You could have the nuts,
Yeah.
put your money in, and then what happens if you get sucked out on?
Limped around here, and it's going to be limped around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways.
$120 pot to the flop, folks.
Looks like it. The blinds check. And here we go. King, 9, ace here. Well, Seth's got a flush draw over there with queen 7, second nut flush draw. Doesn't look like anybody has an ace. And no
No,
one
I-
has a king.
And nobody has a 9.
No one has any pair here. It gets checked around.
Well, there you go.
Turn is a 3, and that brings Chuck a gut shot wheel draw with a flush draw on seat 8. And still no one has a pair. And now Chuck is going to bet here. Looks like 100.
These are about a $120 pot.
And Seth makes the check call here. So let's see if it goes miss, what happens. Oh, the river's a spade. He's made the backdoor flush there. Chuck has, and he's going to bet out again.
And I don't think, obviously, Seth cannot call with queen high there.
We had 6 people in the hand, Dave. No one had a pair with a 4-card board there.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Phenomenal.
What are the odds of that?
I'm not sure what the odds are, but definitely pretty long. Yeah, the more I think about that, man, Jack 9 versus Ace King there. You're talking 44 cards that we don't see, 41 of which are good for 41 of which are good for Glenn. Only 3.
Interesting email here.
God,
First
what
one
a
of the
brutal
night
game.
here from Tom. He says, "Hey guys, I love your commentary. Thank you very much. It's helped my game tremendously. I was playing online today and I was dealt ace queen in the small blind and was faced to a raise by the button. I didn't get involved in the hand and the flop came ace 3. I know ace queen is a sucker hand. You guys saved me a lot of money and I would have lost. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Button moves over here to seat 2. That is Raid. Limped around here. And Raid's got pocket 5, speed limit on the button. He says raise.
Interesting spelling. I mean, the pronunciation I know is Raid.
Make it 100.
Reasonable to call. That's why you change.
That's actually that's the pronunciation of it, but it's spelled R-A-D-E.
Wow, okay.
Strange.
Well, he popped it up to 100 here.
Come
and,
on, man. Give me too much respect.
Seat 7 there, Seth is in with a couple of ducks.
You might catch you play. You might glove it.
And Chuck here is going to play a suited ace 9 of spades. Well,
And that's going to bring Glenn in here with 4-6 diamonds.
it's a $400 pot to the flop.
Look at this. Nobody's got anything higher than, well, besides Chuck there.
Yeah, Chuck has got the ace 9. Oh, look at this. It misses everybody. Queen, 9, 10. Well, Chuck has got bottom pair here, but how did he possibly know that's good on this board?
Glenn has got a flush draw.
And everybody checked him. Turn is an 8. Nobody has a jack. This still might get checked around, Dave. And ace-9 is still the best hand.
He's got to dodge a lot of cards here.
Wow, and the river here is a 7. Now anybody with a 6 would have a straight, and it's Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn is backed into the best hand here. He's got a straight.
And now Seth is going to come out and bet 300 with pocket deuces.
Yep.
And can seat number 1 there make this call?
I think he easily can, actually. The bet's 300. How much is the pot?
It's now a $700 total pot, 300 to call. Well, he doesn't beat a
Well-
jack, and he chops with a 6, Dave. He does make the call.
No, okay, good plan. I was trying to think
Yeah.
exactly what he has here.
Again?
And he's going to take it down.
Yeah.
I mean, he is second to last to act. Maybe you say maybe heads up, maybe you call. I don't know if I would
actually
get
spoke
involved
a
with
little
that.
quickly.
Yeah.
I said that it was an easy call, and it's obviously not an easy call at all.
Right.
The only thing that's odd is if Seth had a jack, he was in late position. He would have been open-ended on the flop, right? It's funny, you know, oftentimes you come to a quick conclusion, and then you start re-examining the hand, and you go backwards, and you go, wait a second, the flop is 9, 10, queen. He's in late position. If he has a jack, why wouldn't he fire at least once?
Right.
And then you start thinking of that, and you go, wait a second, I think this guy's missed.
Button moves over here to Gill in C3.
Oh, man, I think we blew out the stereo of that one, huh? You were saying it, too. You were sitting there going, man, he can only lose if a jack, and there it is! Oh, man, I feel so bad for that guy. That sucks.
5-way action here, limped around. King, queen, 6, 2 spades. Chuck's got a flush draw here in seat number 8, but he is not in the hand.
I think Nader's got the best hand right now.
Turns a deuce.
Am I right?
King, queen, 6, deuce here. Couple clubs, couple spades.
We
And
got
I
flush
guess
draws and on both
checked around
sides.
again. And again, Chuck is not in the hand, so he's not made a spade flush in seat 8. And,
So the best hand is Nader here.
Yep.
With 8s and deuces with a king kicker.
Yep, that's going to take it down.
I have the king.
Take it down, Nader.
I think we're going to see a chip count here pretty soon, Dave.
Sweet.
I can't really back him up.
Very, very cool. Hey, so I'm checking out this thing here. We got this Knockout Bart tournament here for Sunday, March 12th. I guess they're playing at 3:30.
Well, let's take a look at this chip count here first. Well, this is where these guys are now. The game has been going for about maybe 45 minutes before the show started. And I think Eli is much, much higher than that.
Yeah, he's got at
probably
least
got
6,500.
yeah,
Okay.
6,500 to 7,000. So this is where they're at, and let's see the differences here. Oh no, we're just going to do it starting where we're at
Okay.
now. And the button moves over here to seat 4.
Raise, make it 120. Set.
Ace Jack suited here and pocket 8s here for Gill.
Well, hey, you know what? If you're not going to flop a set with your 8s, not a
Yeah.
bad way to go. He's open-ended here. The flop is 6, 7, 9, folks.
Yep, and Gill's going to bet here with pocket 8s.
And take it down. He's got the best hand and the best draw. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this here. We can knock out Bart, folks. So you got to join me on this. Join me on Sunday, March 12th at 3:30 Pacific time at the LA Poker Scene. It's only a $10 buy-in tournament, but head over there quick because it is limited to the first 100 players. Okay? And there is a $100 bounty on Bart's head.
Well,
So
Dave, maybe
I want to take you out.
because again we're getting confirmation that Eli actually has 4,500. Maybe when the dealer said 1,800, it was 1,800 total from the $800 check rise, not 1,800 more, and that would put him around 4,500.
Okay.
So the pot was actually only 4,500.
I'll buy it. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. There you go.
Well, he's got Ace King suited here again in seat 4. That's Eli,
Mikey cracked me out.
and he just limps in here on the cutoff, Dave.
Really? Well, you know, I mean, I don't mind that. In No Limit Hold'em, if you were to raise, say, with Ace King, if you were to raise 4 out of 5 times, but one time not raise, you kind of mix up your play just a little bit. And look
Wow,
at this flop.
what a monster flop from him. He's got the nut flush draw with top pair
And
here.
how big is the flop for Nader now? Nader's got a wheel draw, gut shot wheel draw with a flush draw as well.
Yeah.
But his flush is no good. How does he know that, though?
And Ace King checked it. He checked the flop. And now the turn's
Oh,
a diamond, and now Nader and Eli both have flushes.
Oh, I got to tell you, man, this guy has played this hand
And now-
so passively,
and-
but it's going to work out great for him.
And now George comes out and he bets ace-8 here. This is a funny situation because I had a conversation where I saw this exact situation happen to a guy who I actually respect his game, and I'll get to it after the hand.
And wait, Raeed's got 2 pair, ace and nines.
Yeah, and Raeed is
Oh,
going to make the
my.
call. And ace-king just calls again. And the diamonds just call. Nobody's raised with their flushes. Nader is in there with the smaller diamond flush.
Oh.
And the river's a 4th diamond. Are you kidding me?
And it gives George 2 pair also, but that is going to be an action killer.
Nader has deuce 3 of diamonds over there in seat 6.
Man, and I tell you here, this is crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Nader gets away from it. All the money could have gone in there. Are you kidding me? And
Yeah.
I wanted to comment about this hand because there was a guy, Dave,
And he shows 2 pair also.
and he shows the nut flush. I mean, he could have had all of Nader's money on the turn, most likely, or Nader might have made a move at him on the flop.
Yeah, I mean, it was odd that Nader didn't raise, to be honest with you, on the turn. On the turn, when you get a bet from George, a call by seat 2, a call by seat 4.
Look at this board right here.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, the guy didn't raise pre-flop, so this is a little bit different. But I saw a good player raise with ace, king, and diamonds, and that board came out. And then he checked the flop, and I'm sitting there scratching my head. And he's like, well, I think I have the best hand and the best draw. I want to let people catch up. But I would think that, like, against 6-way action, you'd put some money in there on that flop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
I mean, I don't mind the way Eli played it pre-flop, and I've been talking to a lot of experienced no-limit players, and they basically said, they go, you can't raise every time you have ace-king.
No,
You got to mix up your play
Right.
once in a while. Show people that you might limp in with that hand once in a while. But when you get a bet and a call, and you have ace-king and diamonds, why not bump it up a little bit, see where they're at? Maybe somebody got lucky and got 2 pair.
Seat 2 raised here with the suited connector. But, I mean,
Suited too, huh?
that probably either would have went bet, call by Nader, or maybe even a check raise by Nader. And I know Nader's game. If he called the flop, he probably would have check raised the turn. And all the money would have went in. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's
You know-
real tough to get away from a flush there.
I've seen it on the table.
The interesting thing also is, I'm going to throw this at you. Okay. Now let's say George bets, right? Seat number 2 calls,
Right.
and now the button raises it up to say $400 or $500.
Yeah, you didn't even raise on the turn.
No, but I'm going to throw this at you.
Yeah.
Now normally you'd go, wait a second, what are you trying to? You're trying to represent diamonds here? Come on, I don't believe that. I think if you had a diamond draw, you probably would have bet the flop with your draw, wouldn't you?
Right.
You know what I mean? The way he played the hand, it was so tricky that I think he might have been able to, if he raised there, somebody might have put him on a move and come over back over the top. He might have gotten seat 6 to put the money in with a small flush, and he might have gotten seat 2 to put some money in with 2 pair.
Eli's going to raise here to 120, 7-9 of clubs. George is in there with Queen Jack suited. And we're going to see 3-way action here.
Man, definitely left some money on the table there, folks.
Yeah. Well, 10-3-6 here, and Glenn's got a gut shot. And Eli here also has a gut shot. And Eli was the pre-flop raiser. And Glenn is going to come in and bet with a gut shot here. He's going to bet 250. Now, Eli's got backdoor clubs. He's got a gut shot to the 8. George actually has the best hand here with Queen High.
Backdoor hearts.
It's a $250 bet, a little under the size of the pot.
What's Eli thinking about, though?
Pot is now 610, 250 to call. Eli is not going to get involved. George is not going to get involved.
Glenn takes it down. Okay, I'm checking out our 2+2 site, okay? And SP Surfing. I have to love the guy. The guy's a great person. But he actually says this, and I thought he knew poker. I can't believe he actually wrote this down. Dave, if you have the nuts, you cannot get sucked out on? Really? Did he actually write that?
Well, with one card to come, you certainly can.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, re-examine the statement, Michael.
Right.
Come on, buddy.
Button moves over here to seat 8. I don't know. Again, those types of hands kill me with the ace, king, and diamonds. I mean, my goodness.
Oh, man. Well, I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind playing it tricky on the pre-flop. I don't even mind playing it tricky on the flop. But you know what, though? On the turn, when you get that action that you were actually begging to get,
Man.
there's got to be, at some point, you've got to put some money in the pot. If you want to win a big pot, folks, sometimes you have to build it yourself.
And Gil has made a min raise here under the gun with 10-9 suited. And we're going to see 5-way action here. It's a $200 pot going 5 ways. Gil the pre-flop raiser. Well, he's hit top pair here. 8-3-10, couple diamonds, and he has the best hand, it looks like. Nader's open-ended.
Open-ended with 2 diamonds out there. Does he want to get involved? We'll see.
Well, Gil's going to bet 120 here, and Nader quickly calls.
And Chuck's got 4s. He's going to get rid of this pretty quickly. I imagine Glenn's going to fold as well. And is Raid going to get involved? No, he's going to throw away second pair.
So we're heads up here, 10-9 against Jack-9. Here we go to the turn. Turns a 7. There's the straight for Nader, and it's an offsuit 7 as well.
And it's one of those. You notice right away how a diamond comes, everybody immediately says, oh, the guy must have a flush. But the straights are where you make money, folks. You look at that, it's not automatic. You don't just automatically put somebody on Jack-9.
You know, Gil bets 220 here, and Nader moves all in. Kind of more of a reason why you wouldn't chase that flop with Jack-9, because Nader's only all in for about 390, Dave. And Gil's going to call. I mean, he's only going to see one card. He doesn't have that much money behind. River here is a Jack, and they're going to chop this one up.
Wow.
A suck-out chop on the river. Unbelievable. Now, Nader had the nuts right there, didn't he, on the turn?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Nader had the absolute nuts.
Wow. Couple of emails
The
here.
funny thing is, if Gil actually had Queen-9, he would have sucked out and won the whole thing.
From Neil Wills said, could you guys explain how a straddle works? I've been a bit confused on this one. Thanks, Neil Wills. You want to take that one, Dave?
Sure. Well, straddle is it's the player who's under the gun is actually putting in blinds twice the amount of the big blind, and by doing that, he actually gets to act last. And the reason for it is usually to entice action. It's also sometimes you like being able to act last, and you're kind of making the game a little bit bigger artificially.
Another email here from Mark, and I can never pronounce his last name.
Bonagura.
It says, why does Avo always have so many chips? So many more chips than anyone else at the table to begin the game. What is he doing that for? What is that doing for? What is he
Why
doing?
is he doing that,
Why
basically?
is he doing that? See? I need to proofread these
What are the
emails.
reasons for it?
Right. Love your show, guys.
I'd have to ask Avo, but a lot of times players like to buy in to make sure they have the entire table covered. Oftentimes, a lot of times, people like to have a lot of money in front of them, so they never feel short-stacked. They feel the freedom to make moves and really mix it up if they want to.
Yeah. Ace Queen 6 here was limped around, and Gil has got bottom 2 pair here. Let's see if he puts some money in, and he checks it, Dave. It's a rainbow board.
Yeah, nobody's got really anything here, so
Well, George is going to come out and bet here with Queen 4 offsuit on the button.
I like it. Why not take a shot at it?
And Gil here,
He's gonna raise it.
yeah,
Raise right away, and that'll probably take it down.
he's going to make it 280. Pretty powerful check raise here.
And I guess in the end, I mean, do I agree with it? Hey, whatever works, each their own, you know? If Avo wants to buy in for $25,000, hey, so be it.
Well, obviously, Avo feels comfortable playing deep stack.
Yeah.
And you can tell Avo's pretty conservative, so maybe that works into his game, you know? He's not going to commit all his chips, usually.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know.
sometimes I've actually noticed in my own game that I feel more comfortable when I have a lot of chips.
Well, the other thing about Avo's, too, is you got to remember that he plays it so conservative, and probably a lot of people respect him as a tight player, that it opens his game up more to make a move because he has so many chips that he could actually move somebody off of a hand.
Right.
If he didn't have something.
And some people might argue, well, why doesn't he just cover the guy and whoever has the most amount of chips? He just makes sure he throws $30,000 on the table, not worry about it.
Right.
And George is not going to call this. There's no way George is calling this. There you go.
So let's get to the Knockout Bart tournament.
Yeah, this is cool.
Head over to the LAPokerScene.com this Sunday, March 12th at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. $10 plus one, limited to the first 100 players, and a $100 bounty on my head. Check it out. I've registered. Head over to the LAPokerScene.com. I want to see everybody over there. None of these excuses that the buy-in is too big. You can also check out the $500,000 free roll going on at the LAPokerScene.com. Use the deposit code 5X500K. Get you 5 free entries into Stage 1 tournaments. Win one of those. Get yourself into that $500,000.
$500,000 free roll, folks. A lot of stuff going on at the LA Poker Scene, actually. LAPokerScene.com. You can get there by going to liveatthebike.com. On the right-hand side, click on it. We have the special heads-up tournaments. They have That's Allen table. And more.
Raise, make it 80.
$80 raise here by, looks like Chuck over there in seat 8. He's got a suited ace, deuce of hearts, and Seth is in there with ace 4. So we're heads up here, 2 suited aces.
Odds are both players will miss.
Chuck has position. Wow, look at this ace 4-9. Seth's got top and bottom.
Well, what do I know?
And Seth checks, and Chuck bets, and Seth is just going to call here. Just a smooth call. Well, here we go to the turn. Turns a 6. Ace-4 is still good here.
Yeah, Chuck is actually drawing dead, folks.
And now, Seth check called the flop, but now he's going to lead right into the turn here.
Yeah, Chuck cannot win this pot. He can only tie the pot, and that's only if a 9 or a 6 come off.
Is this a good time maybe possibly for a kind of a reverse stop bet we talk about? And Chuck makes the call. You know, Seth puts out what looks to be like a little weak bet. Maybe hope to get raised by a bigger ace there. The river here is a 7, and Ace-4 is good.
I like the bet. I mean, it almost looks like maybe you have clubs, too.
And look at this. Seat number 7 is going to bet 600 here. That's a brown chip. We usually don't see that. That's a $500 chip plus 1. He's bet 600 into a pot that's about 800. It's a $1,400 pot. 600 to call. And the only thing that Chuck can really beat here is maybe busted clubs, right?
Yeah, you know, I was interested. I wanted to know why Seth didn't check raise the flop, hoping that Chuck's got ace-king or ace-queen. But, you know, he did it just the same. He kind of mixed up his play. He called, and then he bet.
Yep. Again, sometimes
And I love Seth. It's not going to show the cards.
somebody might put out a little stop bet on the turn and would say 7-8 of clubs there, or something like that, right? Or club draw.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and you hope to get raised by maybe ace-king, ace-queen, something like that, and then you really can push it hard there.
I mean, if
You've
you're
got
playing
ace-4.
against an advanced player who can kind of sniff out that blocker bet, you can definitely put that, you know, you make it look like a blocker bet and you get raised.
Yep.
I think I actually noticed, said a long time ago, actually, Jonas made that play against me one time, where I had ace-king. The turn brought him 2 pair, actually,
Right.
and he bet into me, and I really thought he had a flush draw possibility, so I raised him, committing myself with ace-king. Get a limp in here by Nader with pocket 10s. He does not raise in early position. But Glenn is going to raise, and he's going to raise with ace-7 offsuit.
He makes it 80 to go here. Let's see what Nader's going to do. He's just going to make a call here from up front.
This game's kind of got a tournament feel to it, doesn't it?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of that this month. There's the ace.
I mean, Nader was an overwhelming favorite over Glenn pre-flop, but now, obviously,
And look at this.
Glenn's got him
Glenn
by the
checks
balls.
right behind Nader.
Ace.
And I think that they're just going to, maybe
Yeah.
these two are friends, they just check it down, I
no,
guess.
I don't think they're friends, actually. I'm going to say Glenn. I don't think Glenn was really comfortable with his hand when he got called.
Well, it looked like that they had turned their cards up at the turn, so that's why
Did
I thought
they?
that, yeah.
He might have said, I'm checking the whole way. I don't think they're friends.
No, you asked me why I don't bet.
I could be
I said,
wrong.
I don't think I have a good hand.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go, you're right.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say, I didn't think they were friends. Ace-7 is pretty much, I mean, what can ace-7 beat there? What can you get called by?
Looks like you've got some fantasy baseball
Garbage.
information here, huh? I'm
Yeah.
trying to study up. I was actually watching a little bit of that World Baseball Classic this afternoon.
Why?
I saw the U.S. against Mexico, and I saw Venezuela against Dominica. That was kind of cool. David Ortiz, 2 home runs. Pocket aces here for seat 9.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I could care less about WBC.
Raise, make it 120.
George is going to make it 120 here. Pretty talented teams, though, when you look at the...
Yeah, but spring training. That's all it is.
George made it 120 here with aces. We can't see what Gil has. He's thinking about calling over there on the button in seat 3.
You really wonder. Looks like he's going to at least call.
No, Gil folds. I think seat 5 is going to fold as well.
Looks like yes, big and little.
And Nader's going to call here with Queen Jack off suit in seat 6.
Not a hand I really want to take heads up against one opponent.
Out of position.
Yeah, against a player like George.
Aces against Queen Jack. Here we go. Well, Queen Jack is missed totally. George's got the ace of spades in his hand. And George here looks like he's going to bet about the pot.
Yep. Pretty straightforward there.
Takes it down.
Easy there.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing I can't stand about the WBC, the World Baseball Classic we're talking about, you said you saw the game. Didn't, like, Johan Santana pitch 3 innings?
Yeah.
I mean, the starting pitchers are
it-
pitching
yeah,
like
they're
3
not-
innings. It's
right.
like spring training. It's like, what a joke. You're gonna play this like they're gonna play it up like it's like this really important like baseball game or something. But the starting pitchers are only pitching 3 innings.
It's weird, though, because I don't think they could ever pull off what the NHL does with the Olympics. I don't think they would ever take a break in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can do it in the off season, right?
No,
It's just,
I mean, I understand.
you know, it's
Baseball season is just too long.
right.
There's 162 games already. We don't need more. You know what I mean? If there was a sport out there that people are craving for more, it would be football.
Right.
You know, it's not like I'm going, man, I wish I could see 250 games of baseball. Yet.
Button moves over
And I
here.
hear
to
Ray
C4.
in my voice. He's saying, hey, we could see more UFC. I agree. Ultimate Fighting Championships, I could definitely see more of that.
You're into that way more than boxing these days, right?
No, I love boxing. If it's a good boxing match, I love.
Yeah, but there aren't any good heavyweights out there right now.
I actually like the lighter ones.
King 9 here at seat 1's going to raise. He's going to make it 110 to go.
Glenn is probably the most aggressive player at this table, wouldn't you say, right now?
Looks like it. We've seen him
And
come
look at
out.
this. I got to tell you, I don't think he rebought, did he?
No, again, I guess he wasn't as short as we thought he was when
No, I
he.
mean, he went all in for like $180, right? So he doubled up there to about probably like 400 maybe, and then he won another pot, probably brought him to like 650, and suddenly now he's up to maybe 13 or 1400. Man. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen, or Bart Heavy B Hansen.
Button moves over here to seat 5.
We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Lines are 10 and 20, folks. High stakes this month.
Yep. Big blinds over there in seat 7, and George is going to raise here with Jack 7 of hearts from up front in seat 9. He makes it 120. He made this raise with aces as well. Same hand. Or same raise. Look at seat 4, Dave. He's got ace-4 offsuit. He's going to call.
Raise, make it 120.
And he makes the call. Wow. And we're heads up here. Jack 7 of hearts against ace-4 offsuit. Here we go to the flop. George, the pre-flop raiser. Well, he's got the best hand here. He's hit middle pair. Let's see if he continues to bet.
George has kind of mixed up his game a little bit tonight, hasn't he?
He's going to bet 140. That's half the size of the pot, Dave.
Raise.
And look at Eli. He's going to snuff it out. He's going to pop it up here. He thinks George is bet weakly. He's going to make it 330 here.
I was kind of wondering. I was like, is Eli going to make a play here? Because you call with ace-4. Now you have position on the opponent, but what are you trying to hit?
Well, it's interesting to note again that George usually makes kind of a pot-sized bet if he had aces here or even ace-king, but he kind of bet weakly here.
Yeah.
On the turn. Or, excuse me, on the flop. He does have the best hand here with middle pair. Good picture-in-picture there.
Hey, we haven't seen Eli bluff yet. We've only seen him make a couple of questionable calls. Always interesting to see how somebody looks when they're bluffing.
And George is going to make the call. And, folks, we've got a pot that's about $800 or $900 here going to the turn.
Really puts Eli in a tough spot now because
Yeah.
when George... Let's see what happens on the turn, first of all.
Well, the turn's a 10.
That's a scary card here. And George is going to check it. And how much is Eli going to bet?
350.
He bets $350 in about an $800 pot, maybe even kind of a bet that might be wanting a call here. Could he represent ace-king
well,
here?
it's kind of a weak bet, isn't
Or
it?
not ace-king, ace-queen possibly, or... You know,
I
you
mean,
should
maybe
take a
king-queen.
lump. Yeah,
Maybe king-queen. Now he's open-ended with
Yeah.
the king. It's
What
a
would he-
really small bet.
You know, what would he raise the flop with? I mean, George can only really beat a bluff here.
Oh, yeah, that's all he can beat. Well, you're starting to think of some hands that he might have. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of, would he bet, if he had, let's say, queen 10, would he bet it?
And George is going to fold. And the problem also for George there is that the river was an inconsequential deuce of clubs. The problem for George there is if you call a turn and you think the guy's bluffing, well, you're going to face a river bet as well, right?
Well,
How much money you're willing to put in there with Jack 7,
Yeah,
right?
it's interesting. Sometimes,
I'll take it.
if you're playing against a player who bluffs, sometimes they can fire one bullet. Sometimes they might even fire 2 shells.
Right.
But can they fire a third bullet? And maybe that's what George is hoping for. Maybe George is kind of hoping, well, I call him once, maybe the guy will shut down. Now, the 10 is one of the worst cards. You don't really want to see a 10 there.
Well, in that case there, George was looking to see if the guy fired the second bullet.
The second
and he
bullet,
did,
exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of fired a weak bullet, though, didn't he?
He did.
Like you said, it almost looked like he wanted to be called, or he was weak. You're not sure.
Yeah, nice job.
Live straddle here by George.
Service, please.
Seat 4 is going to limp in here with ace 3. Well, you got to think that Eli was just playing George, because again, ace 4 is not a hand usually you're going to call a raise with. You know?
Not usually, no.
And this is going to be limped around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways.
Well, $200 pot already.
Yep. 40 times 5. Here we go to the flop. Well, 7-3-4 here, couple diamonds. George has got a gut shot here to the 5.
Yeah, Seth is not in there, by the way, folks. 7 deuce.
Bet 80.
And Eli's going to bet 80. He's got the best hand here with bottom pair, ace-3.
He likes to play a lot of hands.
And George here is going to make the call with the gut shot. Now, if the 5 comes, it's going to be pretty obvious,
Well,
right?
that's the problem, yeah. There's also 2 diamonds out there.
Turns a deuce. Now he picks up a pair. He checks.
The only thing I'm wondering is George making this play also to represent diamonds? If a 5 hits or a diamond hits, and now whether a deuce hits or 6 hits, he can probably take it down.
Well, George is going to, Eli's going to bet 240 here. Now, if a 5 were to come, both players would have a straight, but George would have a higher straight to the 6, and Eli would have a wheel.
Exactly.
George is not going to get involved here again. And Eli is going to take it down. River would have been a 4. Another email here from Matt Green. He says, quick question. What's a stop and go? I hear it all the time, and I'm a bit unsure on its definition in No Limit Hold'em.
Okay, well, I'll give you an example of a stop and go, and hopefully that'll suffice for the definition, at least what my interpretation of it is. Stop and go generally is, let's say somebody were to raise in late position, okay, or any position really. You look down in the big blind and you have pocket 4s. Now, you probably don't have enough money to move all in and get him off the hand. Okay? So oftentimes what you're going to do is you're going to call the raise, with the intention of moving all in on the flop almost no matter what comes out. So basically it's a stop and go. You're basically doing that. And what you're hoping for is you realize that if you move all in pre-flop, your opponent will probably have 2 overcards and will probably call you. But what you're hoping for is the flop will come out, you're hoping your opponent misses it, or some maybe scary cards come for your opponent. Now you bet into your opponent the rest of your money, and your opponent folds. I think that is essentially a stop and go. I get that right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
All in.
We got a raise here to 120, and Nader moves all in here. And Nader's got King, Queen, and Seat 4 brought it in with Ace, King, so Nader is dominated here.
Just so you know, stop and go, it's a more relevant term for tournaments, I think.
Yeah,
than
usually
cash
for
games.
tournaments. Yeah.
But it is an effective play sometimes.
So Nader's going to move all in here, and I think Ace, it's only about 300 total. I think Ace King is definitely going to call. See how this one plays out.
Okay. I didn't hear you say that.
And here we go. Nader is dominated here.
Yeah, he needs a queen and only a queen here, or some sort of straight. Nope, that's no help.
No.
7, 8, 8 there. Churn is a 6. He needs a queen.
And the river is an ace, and Eli's going to take it down. Eli's really on a tear here, Dave.
Yeah, Eli finishes up there with aces and 8s with a king kicker. Obviously, your best 5 cards play.
And I think that George is obviously, he said he had been running bad right before Christmas, but he took some time off. He went to Greece, and I think he's doing a lot better this new year, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like George's game. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I would like to see him a little more aggressive. But hey, that's my taste. Teach their own, right? There he is, Voodoo George, a.k.a. the Greek poker guy.
He said he used to play professional soccer in Greece.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Button moves over here to C8.
500 behind.
I wonder what position he played.
Well, he said he's always been an athlete his whole life.
Really? Well, he's got ace-queen here. Let's see how he plays it. Ace-queen suited. Now, seat 2 also has ace-queen. And seat number 6, Nader, who is playing how much behind? Only 500 behind. He has pocket jacks.
200.
And he makes it 200 to go.
Yep, he's going to make it 200 to go here with pocket jacks. How much is he playing behind?
Only 500. So he's put in 40% of his stack pre-flop.
You're showing me the watch right now. Can
Well,
I ask?
again, if you're George here, you just not even get involved with it. I mean, the guy's put in 40% of his stack. What are you going to do? Come over the top with ace queen?
You might raise it up to 500 thinking the guy's steaming. You might. I'm just throwing that at you.
I mean, I don't think you're just going to call here, are you?
No, you clearly
Yeah.
can't call. I mean, you actually
Well,
could.
I guess he is going to call.
I mean, 200's enough to probably get other players out.
Well, and you know what? Maybe he figures maybe some other players will come in and then he can just play the rest on the side against them. He's out of position. Now, Raid's got ace-queen. He's going to make the call.
Yeah.
Gil's got 7-10 of spades, and even though Nader is pretty much going to commit himself, well, Chances are this is going to go miss. Probably a bet all in by Nader and a fold.
Yeah, Nader's in great shape, obviously, with 2 ace-queens out there.
Well, it's a $600 pot, and he's going to be able to put in another $300. So it's going to be a $900 pot, $300 to call if it goes check. Wow,
Well-
George's got overcards and a club draw.
He checks it. He's going to let Nader put the money in, and then he's going to raise.
And Nader moves all in.
And this would be, tell me this is not a clear cut. Would you just smooth call this trying to get the other person in or not? Or do you raise to block the other guy out?
I don't think you. I mean, you're not. I don't think you need to raise there. He makes the call.
Okay. Well, if you look at this now, it's heads up, and George is the favorite, folks. Nader has the best hand right now, but George is the favorite because he's got overcards with the flush draw.
I'm a full house. I'm the favorite on this hand.
They're talking about running it more than once. I don't think they're going to.
And George said it. He goes, I know I'm a favorite on this hand.
Pot's over $1,000. Here we go to the turn. Turn's a 3. George needs an ace, a queen, or a club, and there's a queen on the river.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is that normally George is a favorite on that hand.
Right.
But our software actually failed to acknowledge the fact there was another ace-queen
It
out
doesn't.
there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Actually, something about our software. It doesn't take into account dead cards that are folded. Actually,
Right.
And George is not, because we can see that one of the aces and one of the other queens is dead.
Right, so instead of having, say, 15 outs, he actually only had 13 outs. So instead of being a 55% favorite to win the hand, he's probably closer to 46%.
Dave, we have an email here from Larry Kyle. He's from Germany, and I only got to the first line of the email. It says, "Hi, Mike and Dave," and then I stopped.
Who the heck's Mike?
I don't know. That's why I stopped.
He says, I hope this is the correct way to reach you guys during the live webcast. Larry, it is. Now, if you want to make friends with me, you just keep doing what you're doing, okay? Because I think that's hilarious. Bart might not answer your questions. Once again,
Here we go.
we're doing live at the bike here. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. Well, you just started here. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Mike's been doing the show for such a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the first, no, he's the first
Eli's
one.
got ace queen of diamonds this time. Seat 4. He's gonna limp in.
How do you mix it because
I think this is actually going to be some sort of misdeal here, Dave. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
There you go. Here's an interesting email from Steiner out in Norway. Greetings from Norway. A little question about straddling. Does it affect the post-flop bet as well? Example, if blinds are 10-20 and the under the gun guy straddles to 40, the flop comes and you want to bid the minimum, bet the minimum that would be. Would that be 20 or 40? Now, first of all, obviously, rarely would you see somebody actually bet the minimum. Into
It's actually a good
pot.
question, though.
But it is,
Yeah.
you can actually bet $20 if
Yeah.
the game is a 10-20 game.
Right.
because
Yeah, the minimum bet is the size of the big blind, not
Exactly.
straddle.
Not straddle. So you can bet $20, but rarely you will see that in a little bit.
Steiner Asham. I hope I pronounced
Steiner
that.
Asham, yeah.
Steiner Asham. And
Although you might be right.
Oslo, possibly. I'm actually Swedish, so good Scandinavian blood watching the show. Ace King here for seat number 9. It's George. He's on the button.
He's getting some big hands today, huh?
Yeah.
Folding,
He's going to raise it up on the button,
let's
folks.
make it 7.
Sorry about that.
And I love raising your big hands on the button, make it look like a steal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes people will limp in with a big hand there. I like raising it. Make it look like you're stealing. Maybe they'll come over the top of you. You never know.
I like my hand. 6-3 club.
And George's going to take it down there. Interesting post here by Wyatt Godin, or email here by Wyatt Godin. He says that there was a girl playing on Party's Bad Beat Jackpot, and she was in the big blind with pocket nines. Flop was 9-9-10 with 2 clubs. The turn was a jack of clubs. Someone made the bottom end of a straight flush, but the river came queen of clubs and killed the jackpot.
So on your left,
And she would
Because
have
both
won.
hole cards didn't play.
Yep. Isn't that,
Oh, that's a really
horrible.
bad beat.
Yeah.
Real bad beat.
make it 80.
$80 raise here by Chuck. Ace 8 of hearts. And then SP Surfing emailed us and said, hey, you guys are wrong about the nuts. It's an unbeatable hand. I don't know if I ever use that terminology.
All these definitions, they drive me nuts.
I know.
I swear.
Something for
I only had
As far as I'm concerned, if you have the best possible hand at any moment,
That's the nut.
that's the nuts at that moment.
Wow, 2 people have flush draws here. 8-7 deuce with 2 hearts. And Chuck is going to make the continuation bet here to 230. He's got a monster. Top pair and the nut flush draw. Now let's see what Eli's going to do here, Dave. Is he going to lose a ton of money if a heart comes? Right, folds. And a check call here by Eli, and we go heads up. It's about a $500 pot to the turn. Turns a 6. Eight of hearts is still good here.
Eli's in really bad shape, man.
Chuck's going to bet 500. Little under the size of the pot. Pot's over 1,000 now.
How about a raise here from Eli?
Just a call. Now we've got about a $1,600
how about a heart?
pot as
Heart
we
here?
go to the river. Yep, here we go. River's an 8, and Chuck makes trip 8s. And he's probably going to value bet here a little bit.
Oh, of course he is.
Well, he doesn't have any much left. He's just moving all in for looks like maybe 400.
Yeah, and Eli was asking for a heart there, but he's lucky he didn't hit one.
You know, again, a situation there, and you said, how about a check raise here, Dave? But if you actually looked at the stack sizes, a check raise on the turn probably would not be a good play because there would be very little fold equity.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see him do it.
And, right, and the other thing I was going to say, though, is it just goes to show you chasing a dry flush draw against a guy that's got $200 left, you know, with... Yeah, he called 500 for a pot that was 1,100. He was getting one card, and there were no implied odds.
I just like Chuck. I wanted to see him make money. Now, okay, I got to answer this email from Mike. I'll talk about the nuts. Okay, Dave and Bart, let's review the nuts by definition. Whose definition? As far as I'm concerned, from this day henceforth, poker definitions, the definition here at Live at the Bike.
Are you making a declaration?
Yes, the definition here on Live at the Bike is the definition that I am.
Declarate.
Declarate. There you go. The definition here is the one that we're sticking with, okay? You don't like it, go somewhere else. Okay?
Is that him right there?
Jesus. As far as I'm concerned, we can get into the whole mortal nuts, immortal nuts.
Henceforth
March
from this date, March 8th, in the good day of our Lord, 2006.
Drives me nuts. Well, it's like people will
It's
sit
actually
there and
March
like
7th.
people will sit there and play semantics with you and go, "Hey man, wait a second, he didn't get forfeited. He got forfeited. Oh, leave me alone with all this crap." Jesus.
You've been getting a hard time from your wife today, Dave.
No, not at all. The whole definition thing drives me nuts.
Just a couple months.
Couple months and put another 10 years.
Exactly. No, just a
9-3 deuce here on the flop.
That's it, player, no cost.
And looks like Eli's going to take it down there. And he does. Button's going to move over here to Eli. Looks like, I don't know if we're in another chip count here, but Eli looks to be the big winner, obviously, so far, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think he's the only player that's really won a huge hand. Chuck is actually probably up quietly, probably up $800-900 as well. Although he did lose a hand to Seth with ace deuce.
For now. Should be my best friend for a while. I'm a big kid myself.
Looks like we had a small blind on the button this hand.
More players.
Limped around 4 ways.
No option.
5, 6, 8 here, a couple diamonds. Looks like George has got top pair. He's actually got top 2 pair. And seat 5, Jack is going to come out and bet with ace 8 here. Now, on this type of board here, Dave, if you get raised by a good player, where do you think you're at with ace 8?
150.
Now, George is going to raise it up to 150, and Jack is way behind here. He led out with ace 8, and George raised it.
That's George raising. George is not raising. I mean, the only thing you're beating here, but you're barely beating it, is say George has, say, ace 7 of diamonds.
Well, the other thing, though, too, is that even if it is a semi-bluff, I mean, I remember reading in the theory of poker, you know, sometimes the best counter to a semi-bluff is to sometimes just fold with a hand as weak as ace 8, right?
Yeah,
So
well-
what if he's got overcards like queen, jack of diamonds there?
Well, you think
You know?
about it here. If, let's say, George has, say, I'm trying to think of another hand that he might have. Let's say George has 8-7 of diamonds.
Right.
So, in theory, you're ahead.
Actually, with 7, 8 of diamond, well, it would be close because you're sharing the 8.
I'm
right?
saying, in theory, you're
Right,
ahead right
right,
now. But you're
right.
actually way behind because you've got 6 straight cards.
Right.
Okay? Plus, you have 3 additional 7s.
Right.
Plus, you have the additional diamonds. You've probably got, I want to say, 18 or 19 outs.
Let's take a look at a chip count here. Well, I guess Eli's chip count hasn't moved at all.
Now, he won a little bit, and then he lost a little bit to Chuck there. So.
All right, well, let's take a look at the differences.
He's
Eli
up
up about 3,500 from the
120.
from the start. Nader down about 1,500. And Eli's got pocket kings here again, and seat 5's got pocket queens. Eli makes it 120, And the button is going to
Wow.
re-raise
Look at
here.
Nader's hand. Nader's got jacks.
Wow.
We got kings, queens, and jacks here.
And I think
folks.
Nader's just moving all in. I mean, can you get rid of jacks even on a short stack to a raise and a re-raise? Now, it is a cutoff raise and a button re-raise, Dave. But
Actually,
still.
Nader's got more money there.
Oh, wow.
Remember, he doubled up.
I guess Nader just made the call.
Actually, no, he didn't double up. I'm sorry. He bought him for another
Yeah.
$1,000.
And now Eli is going to re-raise.
Now, if you're jack, can you easily get away from queens?
Yeah, I think so.
1800.
So we've got a bet by Eli, a raise by jack,
A call by Nader.
a call by Nader,
And now
then a
the-
re-raise
Exactly.
by Eli. How do you like your queens now,
I
folks?
think this is an easy fold. Jack is actually a big. I've played with him in tournaments a lot, Dave.
Yeah. He's a huge
I mean,
fun
I've
player.
actually seen him lay down. I was in a tournament with him where he laid down kings pre-flop.
No, Jack's
Yeah.
He's a successful tournament player. You see
Right.
him, you'll see him at a lot of final tables. A lot of times he'll finish in the money.
But he's just going to move the rest all in. I think he's a little bit short here, Dave.
Not
And
that
now,
short.
Nader's going to make the call. And we're going to see three ways, two people all in for over a $2,000
Jack
pot.
had $730 still.
Well, so here we go. We got about a $2,000 pot. Run the board. Oh, it's a set of jacks for Nader. Oh,
Wow.
my.
That's just
Unbelievable. Turns a 7. And the river is an 8. And I don't know if Jack had more money than Nader, Eli's going to win some money on the side from
well.
Jack.
It looks like Nader's got 600. It looks like Jack
Wow.
had about 730. So I think Eli wins 130 in the pot. And you want to say Nader wins about 2,000.
Yes, sir.
Actually, Nader's going to win 1,800. Actually, a little bit more because he had some money in the pot already. Actually, Nader's going to win closer to almost 3,000.
2,000, right?
No, there was money in the pot already. There was dead money in there, I think.
How much did he put in there? How much did he have before the hand?
Because he had
started?
another 600 that he put out there.
Oh, so if he started with 1,000, you're right. He could win close to 3,000.
Yeah.
I thought he'd only started with about 600. Wow, that's amazing. What a hand.
Looks like he's got about 10 ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another couple of hundreds coming. He's got close to like 2,500 now, 2,600.
Dave, I'm getting word that Kenna James is going to come to the table here again. I think he got busted out of the tournament and he's going to play. Look at this post here by Russ McGinley on 2+2. Mike is clearly the best Live with the Bike announcer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Not a doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Bring Mike back.
Right.
Have we ever had a Mike?
I don't think so.
I mean, we've had a
We've had a Denny, a Terry, a Jennifer, a Yana, a Shirley. A Yana.
Yana, a Shirley.
I laugh every time
Yana.
I
It
say
sounds
that.
like doesn't it sound like a
yeah.
venereal disease? Oh man, I've got Yana.
I would say we're even, but it went the other way.
Oh, man. Nader's got the button over there and sees
Anybody who knows Yana knows what that is.
knows what that is.
Yeah. Oh man. One of the most annoying people I've ever met in my life.
No, I might not see check.
Jesus.
Okay, now it's you. It's okay.
Finally get an answer.
Get an email from Brian Powell. Thank you for the constructive criticism.
Ben Powell.
Ben Powell.
5 players.
8-8-4 here was limped around. A couple diamonds. Now Seth's got the nut diamond right. Checks it from up front here with overcards, Dave. And nobody has anything here. Turns another 4. Now if you've got diamonds here. And look at that. Eli had flopped the full house. And he did not bet on the flop. And now Seth is going to come out and bet with an ace, which he might think is good right now, plus diamonds.
And Eli's just going to call.
Yeah. Eli did not put any money here with the flop full house. Oh, the river's a diamond here. Well, let's see how this one's going to play out.
I mean, your diamond, you can only
Right.
beat a.
Can't beat Nate. You can't beat a 4 here if
This
you've
is
got
an
nut
easy.
diamonds.
I mean, this is just a call.
No. Seth has bet in with the diamond, Steve. And Eli has the
okay.
full
Thank
house.
you.
Yeah. And he's going to raise it up here.
I had it mixed up.
He's going to make it. He's going to min raise here on the river.
Raise to 6.
And now, if you're Seth, the only thing you could beat is possibly a lower flush. But who on their right mind would ever raise here with a lower flush?
No,
right?
I mean Eli's clearly either got a nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing,
right,
or an 8.
right.
I mean, there's no
How
way
about
to get
8-4?
Well, either way. I mean,
Right.
because you think about it, with a diamond, he's only going to just call.
Right.
You know, you talk about people raising the river there. Generally, they either are bluffing or they've got a monster.
And he did min raise, so it's 300 more, and the pot is about 1,000. It's actually about a $1,200 pot, 300 to call. And again, this is really just a bluff catcher, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you put Eli, if Eli has an ace and he thinks you have an ace also, and he's trying to get you off a shot pot. I mean, that's the only thing, and he's going to lay it down. I
Yeah.
don't mind the lay down at all.
Do you think, though, from what we've seen of Eli, that he's possibly that advanced? And I don't mean anything personally against him, but
I don't know him well enough.
Yeah.
Problem is, just from what we're seeing, I'm not sure if everybody at the table sees it at all.
So you want to buy the button?
No, I don't know if people at the table are seeing what we're seeing, obviously. Now, Larry Kyle here, subject. I am so sorry. Says, Dear Bart and Dave, I am very sorry. It is 5 in the morning, and I am so very tired. Sorry I typed the wrong name. And this explains everything. He says, I am from Oklahoma, but I live in Germany.
Ah.
Thank you, Larry.
Well, now we can actually get to his email now.
They're out of what?
I got, let me see here. Okay. He asked to actually, oh, look at this. Ken and James here. What is that, wearing the Walter Payton jersey?
Yeah, he's got sweetness
All right.
on.
Yep.
Oh, they are out.
Good old sweetness.
Yep. And I think that actually he ran a little better last time he played in the show, won some money the hand after we went off the air.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
It's change.
And of course, you can see Ken. You can actually check Ken's website at kenandjames.com, and he's going to be on Legends at WPT this week from tomorrow, Dave, March 15th. Yeah, he took second place down in that tournament.
Cool.
Queen 9-9 here on the flop. Doesn't look like people have much
seat
here.
8 actually has a 9.
Actually, you're right. Trip 9s here for seat 8. Turns a jack.
Yeah.
That's a scary card if you've got a trip 9s there, huh?
And now he's going to come out and he's going to bet 100.
Bears fan?
And look at this. Seat number 7. Seth is actually going to call with King Jack.
Lincoln Park.
Rivers
Eli
a
is out of
5.
hand.
Rivers a 5.
Lincoln Park High School, but
He
I
bets
was-
200 here.
High school, yeah. I
And
was
boy,
there
again,
for
you know,
my
Seth
time.
is into a spot where he's really only going to catch a
Oh, yeah,
bluff.
that's where I went to the draft.
That's all you can be here.
And he calls. Yeah. And the 9 is good.
We moved when I was.
So I guess the email there from Larry Kyle was just saying he had a graphic suggestion regarding if we might be able to have a symbol or something showing where the button would be. I don't know if we possibly can do that, but we'll take that into consideration.
Yeah, we do try to let you know. The button right now is in seat 8.
Yeah, oh, dude. I love
You can kind of see that little white diskette. I mean, that's a symbol,
Right.
isn't it? You want a bigger symbol? I mean, you see that white, like, kind of hockey puck there? There it is. Now, if you pull away on our overshot, you can, there it is. You can actually see that white puck, the white little diskette there in front of seat 8.
I just bought a house in Vegas.
Look at the hearts out there.
Who doesn't buy?
Now, what are the odds of a heart coming out?
We've never seen three flushes on the show, ever. We have seen 2 flop flushes, but we have that is one thing that we have never seen on the show.
No, we're not going to see it now.
Ace Jack 6 here. Well, a nut diamond draw for Chuck over there in seat 8.
And
He's on
Gil's
the
got,
button.
yeah, Gil's got the best hand here right now.
And you'll know where
Gil is going to bet 20 here, Dave, into like a $100 pot. I don't really know what that's going to do.
and
Kenneth raised
to
40.
to 40 out of seat 5. King 3 of diamonds called.
Here's the other way. Not just school district. The number one.
And Gil here,
Casinos.
I think he's going to call as well.
The casinos.
And we'll go to the turn.
Turns a king. Well, now Kenneth's got middle pair with a straight draw.
Yeah, it gives Kenna more outs here. Kenna needs a 10, a king, or a queen to win the hand.
Again, though, Chuck now has a pair and the diamond draw.
Right.
And Kenna is drawing really slim here. An $80 bet by Gil. Kenna calls, and King 3 of diamonds calls from behind. The river's a diamond, and Chuck makes the nut flush.
And that's one of the problems with playing a hand like Ace 7 of Hearts, folks. You can never play it really strong. You can't play it strong enough to drive out those draws, and now you have no idea where you're at.
And Chuck makes a nice pot-sized bet here. Well, I don't think he's going to get called, but sometimes I like to, you know, make your bets and your value bets the same as your bluffs, right?
Yeah.
You know?
About 5,600 a year.
Obviously, you've got to disguise your bluffs. You have to make your value bets look the same as your bluffs.
Right.
I like this one. Hey, Bartmeister and Tuckarama. Okay. I got you guys at home. You guys are getting more and more inventful every day. It's great. You guys are really getting better every day. I mean it.
Is that right? Wow.
Thank you.
He says, also because I watch the show, I could make a living at poker if I needed to, and it's to your credit.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man. You can't touch
You know, for what it's worth, Dave, the funny thing is I've had people PM me, and I think you have too. When we first started doing the show, and I oftentimes will listen to the archives going back, I think our commentary has really, really changed over, say, the last 4 or 5 months when you and I have been kind of doing it solo in here. And I've actually had people say that I respect on the 2+2 forum that play a lot of high-stakes, no-limit,
Yeah.
that they really think that we have gotten much, much better from where we were before, right?
Yeah, especially you.
Yeah. Right.
0 down.
Jack 5 deuce here at the couple clubs.
Okay, be real careful.
Anyone that's kind of new to the show, I've been doing the show full time here for about a year and a half, all 5 days. Dave was a part-timer until I kind of brought him in. Eli's
Pulled some strings, got me in
Yeah,
there.
Eli's going to bet 80 here
Is an adjustable, okay? So it's gonna
with ace queen, and Gil is going to make the check call here with a gut shot wheel draw and backdoor clubs. Well, the turn's a 4. He's picked up the club draw and a pair. He's got the best hand, and now he's going to come out and bet. Check calls the flop, and he bets the turn. And Eli has the second nut club draw here with the queen of clubs, but it's no good. I mean, this would be a horrible beat for Gil. Eli needs an offsuit queen or an offsuit 3 to chop the pot. And he makes the call, and the river is a 3, but it's a club. And Gil's got the nut flush.
to show that the house is worth the
Yeah, I'm not sure what Eli's doing here. I got to tell you.
Let's say the
And
house
Gil's
is
going to value bet this. He's going to bet 320 here. And if Eli called the turn, I mean, was he trying his kid club here, and now he doesn't even know if it's good, right?
Well, that-
1.35 to 1.4. Make sure, even if you
And he's
don't
going to call, Dave.
get that loan read done
He
right
makes
then
the
and
call.
Well, but I gotta
And the nut flush there for Gil, or I guess in this case, the ace-high flush, is going to take it down.
Yeah, I got to tell you. I mean, I don't know Eli. Seems like a nice guy. And once again, when we criticize somebody's poker playing, we're not criticizing the person, okay?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you that poker in the short term has a lot to do with luck.
Well, look at what we've seen so far. And again, I don't mean to rag on the guy personally. I mean, he starts out with the ace-king. I think I'm about to, like I said, I'm about to go chop my head off when I see someone play ace-king of diamonds like that. And then
yeah.
we can see, like, you know, some of the stuff that goes on further and further.
I mean, right, exactly. With the ace king, the first ace king, he did his very best to give away his money,
Right.
but got lucky.
Right.
And then with the next ace king, could have made a lot of money and got nothing.
Right.
Every property in a decade, minimum half acre. That's right where the new executives are going to move in.
You're good.
It's a slam dunk. I had people try to buy it out from underneath me. That's how.
I'm checking out this 2+2 post from Copper Drake. I don't think I've ever seen the spelling of my name that way.
T4 is going to bring this one in to 120.
I knew that, but I wanted to hang on to it for 3 to 5 years because I knew it was going to either.
You have a family?
Yeah, 20 total.
With pocket jacks here.
She is. But it's this area actually.
And actually, excuse me, I believe that Eli's, and we had a re-raise there, I believe. Wow, a raise by Eli, and Seth re-raised, and Eli's going to make the call there with queen jack of diamonds from up front. Wow, and is he in some trouble here? And folks, we've got about a $500 flop pot going to the flop. Look at this. What a flop for Eli. Diamonds and middle pair. That's a horrible beat for Seth.
Now I got to tell you, this is the kind of flop that I bet right into, and if I almost hope my opponent has ace king because I want him to raise me so I can re-raise him back.
Because you want him not to be comfortable making the call.
Oh, I
Ace
want-
king of spades here,
I
right?
want to really push him to the test with this kind of hand.
And look at the percentages here. I mean, the pot's about $500. Eli checks it. And I don't think that Seth has a lot of money. He checks right behind him. Turns a deuce.
Every time I come on this show, I eat.
500.
So it's very bad.
And he's going to
for
come out
my,
and bet 500. And he's pretty much going to put Seth all in.
Very bad for me this show. I lose money and I gain calories.
Seth folds.
I lose money and I gain calories every time I come on this show.
There we go.
Yeah, Kenneth likes to eat here when he's on the show.
Anybody remember Kenneth James? One of the classic nights we've ever had here on Live at the Bike, we had a bluff night.
Right.
We used to have on Friday nights bluff night. Whoever made the biggest bluff would get a prize. And that night it was about a $120 bottle of wine. Now, Kenna won bluff night. And I had to go out there and actually give him a bottle of wine that ended up costing him about $10,000.
What are you playing?
That was a fun night. But Kenna, of course, always a classy guy.
Yeah, but he was kind of, he was pretty silent after a while.
Yeah, he was. But he
Yeah.
was still, he's such a classy guy. He still shook my hand, took the bottle, and kind of laughed it off.
Seat 9 here raised it up to 80, and that was just kind of that Barry Woods-esque, just incredible call, pulling it out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Exactly.
Three-way action here.
Look at a 6, 7, 8, 9, Jack 10.
Yeah, George brought this in with Jack 10, and Nader's flopped a monster. Overcard, straight flush draw.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Got a huge hand.
Yeah, and look at the favorite here. Nader's a huge favorite, and he has the worst hand right now.
And he's just going to check call George. George bets 200, and Nader just calls. turns the jack, and it gives George top pair, but Nader's got the flush. And George checks right behind Nader. The river's a king. And Nader checked the flush again. He checked it again, Dave.
I don't understand. It almost seems like these players do not want to make money. I don't get it. I mean, why are you playing 6, 7 of hearts? What do you want to hit? What, is he only going to bet if he hits the 3 of hearts or the 9 or the 8 of hearts?
No, they thought confused.
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
I mean, am I crazy? Is the whole point of playing poker? I mean, obviously you're here to have a good time, right? But isn't the point to make as much money as you can on your winning hands and to lose as little on your losing hands? I mean, I just don't understand it.
Can I ask something from some of our viewers out there?
Go
If
ahead.
you're going to play in Sunday's event, the Knockout Bart Tournament, head over to the LA Poker Scene and register now. $10 plus 1. Come on. Move your net teller money over. You can use the bike code 5X500K and get 5 free entries into Stage 1 tournaments for that free roll. Do it now. I want to see this number go up from where it is right now. You're going to see 5-way action limped around here. Deuce, deuce, deuce. And that would probably be about $2,000 in Jonas's pocket if he was here on the show tonight. And seat 1 is going to bet. Glenn bets 40 here.
I thought we weren't allowed to talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
It's kind of a little, like the village thing. That's the color we don't speak of.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hansen, and you're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow night is our big game. We have a No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are $25.50 tomorrow night, folks. A lot of money.
Up Bears. So,
And Kenna, we love seeing Kenna because he plays a lot of hands. He really is action in this game. Well, seat number 1 limps in with ace 10 of diamonds.
Yeah, Ken actually played last night. They had a little shootout, a little $1,000 buy-in
Yeah,
shootout
20%
last night.
shootout.
And
I don't get it.
unfortunately for him, he did not win.
how did somebody come up with this style? That's what I want to know. Huh? Had to be somebody from poker because they said, well, if I look stupid, I'll get more calls. Somebody from poker invented it, and then somebody else.
Limped around 7 ways.
Yeah, I fit right in.
What do you think of Ken's street rep?
He's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
9-7-4 here, a couple of hearts. Looks like, what we got here?
Gil
Seat
has the best
number
hand?
7 is going to bet 60. Seth comes out and bets with top pair. Gil actually has the best hand right now with Queen 9. But I guess it looks like Nader is a big favorite here with a flush draw here.
Yeah, well, when all the other players throw it away, then
Yeah,
you'll see
yeah.
Nader go down and Gil go up.
I'm buying cocktails. Anybody drinking?
So we're going to see 4-way action here still to the turn. The turn's a queen, and now Gil's made queens up, queens and 9s.
There we are.
Now, let's see if he's really probably going to drive with this hand. He's going to bet about the pot here. He bets 300.
And you see no percentage like Seth, because Seth cannot win this hand if it goes to showdown.
And again, you wonder, Eli in there with ace-4. I guess he just took one off, maybe trying to hit 2 pair there, pick up a heart draw. And Nader folds the flush draw. There you go. Still
Take
takes
it down,
down.
Gil. You'll see that a lot of times from some players where they'll take one off of their flush or their trade. If they don't hit it, they throw it away.
Button moves over here to Kenna in C5. It's always going to be fun to see him play in position because he really likes to mix it up.
And you can almost guarantee that he's going to play this pot if it's not raised.
Has anybody gone to my website?
KennaJames.com.
Huh?
Bullets,
Anybody
bullets.
been to my website, KennaJames.com? You been there?
What a shameless plug.
Yes. Can I have 2? We're not going to get anything serious. Just 2 Long Island Ice.
Oh, God. How about absolute mofos? Kind of add some blue carousel in
There
there.
is some. Well, we're working
Told
on
you I
it.
used to make that drink at the Sour Ranch for the little girly girls, you know, and the big crafts.
KENNAJAME.
Right.
4 balls at a time, about 3-4 inches of liquor deep,
You
for
should
about a
bring
90-pound girl.
You should bring that in for Jean-Robert Blonde.
Yeah.
He likes those girly drinks, doesn't he?
If anybody ever been there. Huh?
C2 here, Raid raised it to 100.
Where? At
Seth has
Kenny
called me with
GameStop.
a jack 10 of diamonds.
Never been there yet.
It spells like your name.
Just like my name.
K-E-N-N-A.
J-A-M-E-S.
J-A-M-E-S.
Dot C-O-M.
Dot is like a spin.
Raid's got the chopped hair
My
here.
buddy Dave from Ohio is
Scanner.
doing it. How about that? I had a fan, right? He said, you know what? Oh, is this a note?
Betting to fold here. Let's listen to Kenna.
He said, you know, you don't even have a website. Can I develop a website for you? I said, go ahead, do it. I don't care. And, you know, he's working it. It's going to have a lot of great stuff on it. That's
Is it going now or not?
I got a memorandum about the surf and turf. Now, that looks wonderful. And it's circled. Look at this. Surf and turf, and it's circled. Where did this come from? It, like, came down from the sky. That's strong. It said, huh?
Tell me about the question you hit on me the other day on camera.
Gut
Oh,
shot?
God,
What
George.
did I have?
Shit, 5. So whatever, you hit a 4.
I did have a gut shot.
Button's over there in
Probably
Nader's
slow
hand.
played it again.
Kenna's got queen 7 offsuit, not going to play it. Is that the computer hand?
Do you want me
Computer
to
hand,
win
right?
the no card?
I've got
No,
so
no
many stuff on that I have
definitions.
no idea.
Yeah. What is
I don't even know. I really don't know what that is.
About
It's
the
a
gut
hand.
shot?
Glenn is not in the
How
hand.
did
It's a pretty
you know
shitty
it's in
hand.
there?
Yeah. King 6-3 here, a couple hearts. Just misses everybody.
That's strong.
3 on the turn there. Changes nothing.
Well,
As long as Ken is talking, we're going to try to hear what he has to say. Usually a pretty funny guy. Get a bet here by Chuck. And nobody's going to call this. Chuck takes it down with ace high.
all right, I'm ready now.
George says that he has an ace 2, but Chuck bet, so he's going to take it.
I didn't know. You could have had like Jack 10 suited. That's what you had, isn't it?
Another cool little highlight we got going on. We got the Poker Forever site, folks. If you go to livetobike.com on the right-hand side, there's poker4ever.com, and you can use the bonus code BIKE, B-I-K-E, to get a 100% matching bonus.
Dude, I
Kinda
found
cool.
this memo. It just landed in my.
Oh, this is kind of cool too. You can go to this. You can leave a voice message from me or Bart using Skype. So that's SKYPE. You can download a free Skype account and use your computer to leave a voice message for us at Live to Bike. Each week we'll play the best ones
Why? I'm gonna live on the
on
edge. I'm
the
gonna live
air,
on the
folks.
edge. I'll
Pretty
get it.
cool.
That's always going to go down. That's always going to go
I'm gonna live on the edge and pay for it. It's okay. Bacon wrap play.
And it's 4 ways. I'm going to be doing this solo for a second. Mike has stepped out.
Okay.
Nader with the open-ended straight draw.
The aces again, huh?
Flop is at 9-8-3 rainbow.
60.
And
You know what I'm gonna have?
looks like Glenn bet 60. He's got nothing. He's got king 10, but he is ahead right now.
The scrambled egg.
Turn is an 8, and that doesn't change anything. And Glenn continues to be in the lead. Let's see if he fires again.
Salmon on top.
Pot is about $240, folks. Looks like he's going to bet 150, and he does.
160.
Action goes to Nader, and that's one of the reasons why I always emphasize, sometimes just calling with your draws is not the way to go. Sometimes you want to raise with those draws, and you can get your opponent off a pretty weak hand. And obviously, if Nader had raised there at any moment, he would have taken it down.
And a bottle of water.
Once again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. We do read them. Actually, a new feature we're going to be having going on is you can check out, we're going to be answering your emailed questions kind of through a video thing where you can check it out at live@thebike.com, and that's going to be starting sometime in the next week or so. So email us with some of your elaborate questions, some of the questions that we can't answer on the air because they might be too specific. Glenn is in the big blind with pocket 9s. Get a couple of limpers. And Ken is going to limp in there. Can't see his hand. Actually, no, Ken is not in the pot. I apologize. He's first hand right.
6 players.
And we go 6 ways. Pot is $120 to the flop, folks. Queen 7 deuce, rainbow. And Raid has the best hand here with Queen 10.
You can hardly stand it, right?
No real draw out there. And Raid is going to bet what looks like
140.
$140.
What I get for not raising with these?
Actually, I stand corrected. Raid actually bet 40, And seat 7, Seth makes it 140 with the best hand, King Queen, and Raid calls. The pot is quickly, I want to say $400. Raid checks to Seth. Now that he's made 2 pair, Kings and Queens, and Seth bets 200 into the pot. Pot is now 600, 200 to call. And Raid is going to call again, and he is drawing dead, folks.
We should all.
But he's going to put the money in, drawing dead.
How often do we see that on this show?
Yeah, most really great poker players. So one thing you never want to do is put money in when you're drawing dead. I know it seems like an obvious statement, but
River's a 4. Well, at least it's not a queen, right, on the
that
river.
inconsequential 4.
And there we go. We see that $500 chip there, a chip that we don't often see.
But now I think Raid only has maybe $200 left.
Yeah, and he backed himself into making this call, and Seth is going to take down a pot here. There it is.
I have pocket knives.
And that pot, folks, was $1,200.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, top pair with a 10 kicker is just not a place to lose money. And the problem that I have is, we saw that flop there. I'm going to just tell you about it. Flop was Queen 7 Deuce Rainbow. If I bet with my queen, I get raised. There's no draw there. So you can't really put your opponent on a semi-bluff. You've got your opponent. You almost have to put your opponent, unless he's irrational or kind of getting out of line. You almost have to put your opponent on a bigger hand than yours.
All right. Perfect. Throw in 100.
Donna, they all want to put $100 in before the
All right,
flop.
we're just gonna
play face up. We're gonna play
There's
Indian.
no betting.
So we gotta find out about
I think that they're trying to make an agreement here, Dave, where
This is a
they're all going to
friend
gamble
of
up here.
Okay.
This new
And
next
the
hand is
button has a move
$100, and everyone's just going to play the cards face up.
Okay, there you go.
$100, 8 ways, pure gamble.
No betting. There's no betting.
No betting.
How many players are here?
2 cards.
7 or 8 way action.
7 players involved?
Yeah.
So whoever gets lucky is going to win $700.
That's right.
Will actually win $600. $100 invested.
We turn it up now? Or?
Okay. You can. Yeah, 2 of those, right? How much is that?
So there's not going to be any betting.
Am I live? Am I
The
live?
problem here is that if they turn it up, we can't see the cards.
Right, we can't say no.
Yeah.
Put them on the window.
And we can get ready to use the handy cam on top of it.
Put an 8 up.
Queen.
Well, we can't. Unfortunately for us, it's no fun because we can't see any of the cards.
Queen.
7 now.
Straight draw. I need a 6.
No
I need a
7.
6.
No
Obviously, we try to make people here having fun, so every once in a while.
Right.
This is a pure gamble, folks.
7. We got it. 8.
I need 6.
And unfortunately, we cannot see the cards.
Stupid.
But I'm sure if somebody has a 7
Someone has
here,
a
they've got
7, it's a
straight.
straight.
I got the diamond.
Diamond.
Wow, look at that
No,
flop.
I got a diamond. I do. Hey, I got you, Nick. Only 1 diamond.
And
4 diamonds?
I think Nader wins it with the 4 diamonds. Jeez. I think Nader had the only flush.
Look at that board. 1 card to a straight. Wouldn't that have been funny if they decided to do that and the whole board was a straight flush? Imagine that.
Well, the funny thing is, it would have, the jackpot would not have counted because everybody turned their hands up.
Email here from Bernie McIntyre. He says, Dave and Bart, question about props. I'm pretty sure a prop needs a nice bankroll to play the games the casino requires. What if they went broke and couldn't work at the casino?
Well, then you'd be shit out of luck. I mean, pretty much, obviously.
Yeah.
If you are a prop, you are being paid to play in the games. If you don't have the money to play in a game,
Right.
well, then obviously the casino's not going to pay you.
Right.
So keep that in mind. A lot of props actually. That's why one of the reasons a lot of props actually end up quitting after 2 or 3 months, because they realize the paycheck is not worth playing in say
Right.
a 30-60 game or a 40-80 game if you are not a good player. I mean, you can think about it if you're making say $25 an hour, but you've got to gamble $40 or $80.
May the worst hand win.
Yeah.
You know, every day, every hour, every minute. Hey.
George brought this one in for a raise with King 8 and Kennecall with 8-9, 4-5-6. Kenneth's got overcards and a gut shot here.
Obviously, his 8 is no good though.
Well, actually, you know, the funny
How
thing
about
though
a
is
7
if a
comes?
7 comes, George is going to get really screwed here. He bets.
What is that, 150?
150, and Kenna calls here. If a 7 comes, George has got the 8 high straight, but Kenna's got a 9 high straight. Oh, boy. No, turns a 5.
Now you wonder, is George going to fire again? And they go, shh.
Check here. Let's go to the river. Well, the board's paired now, and the river's a 9.
And Ken is going to win this hand here.
Yeah.
He's got 9s and 5s with a 6 kicker. No, sorry, 9s and 5s with a 8 kicker.
He bets. My question to you is, again, when we talk about deep stack poker, And George, the type of guy that's not going to put a lot of money in there. Would George have gone broke if a 7 came and Ken put all the money in? Bet, raise, re-raise? I mean,
I don't know if it goes bet, raise, re-raise. It might go bet, call.
you think George would call with an 8 there?
With a paired board? Probably.
No. Let's say the turn came 8. Or 7. The turn came 7, excuse me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of hands where I've seen George involved with, where he kind of doesn't play it real hard.
Right.
So I don't know if he goes broke there. George isn't stupid. He knows that in deep stack poker, there's a chance. He knows that he doesn't have the absolute, the absolute stone cold nuts. So.
Stone cold nuts. There you go. Now you're qualifying yourself, Dave.
Yeah, see, that's what people do to me.
Limped around here. Let's
Gotta start dancing around things.
5-way action. 9-5-7 rainbow.
Glenn has got 6-5. He's got a pair with a gut shot straight draw plus a backdoor heart draw. And, well, according to Ronnie, Ken has already won the hand. So, let's move on.
It's a lovely blue. The only thing you're missing is that
Yeah.
gap here.
6-5 suited is going to bet here.
Across, you look like a river.
Yeah, Glenn actually had the button,
Yeah, there you go.
and he's going to bet it. And I imagine he's probably going to take this down right here. I mean, is Ken going to call this with a gut shot? Yes, he
I thought
is.
I dropped 1 and I came up with 2, so now I got a discount. I've got to play that. 150. I'm with you.
And he's going to call. Wow, this pot is quickly about $500, folks.
Yeah.
And if an 8 come, they both have the same exact
Turns a 7.
straight.
Waitress dress.
And Glenn is in commanding lead here. Ken needs a...
An ace or an 8 to chop, right?
right, exactly. An ace to win or an 8 to chop, and that's it.
Glenn bets 100 here. And is Kenny going to... Actually,
Actually-
more than that. He actually bets 150.
If a 9 were to come, Ken would also have the win.
I was going to make it 420, but that's an odd.
But look at this. Ken is going to raise to 450. I wondered if he might sense weakness in Glenn's bet, and he check raises. And we've got over $1,000 pot here as we go to the river.
700 on
Wow, but is Glenn going to call?
Well, I
Can
thought-
Glenn call $300?
well, let's see. I thought he did already call, but he has not.
no, okay.
He's not going to call. He
I was going to say,
yeah,
wow, that
yeah.
was a quick call with 5,
Right,
6 of
right,
hearts.
right.
I was like, hey, it was a 7 of hearts on the turn. I can understand it. Man. I mean, you can't beat a 9. You can't beat a 7 now. What the heck can you beat?
Again, we are here live at the bike. We're playing 10-20.
I got to make you look
No
at
limit
it
hold'em.
because then you have to pay $14.95.
And the brown chips are $10 chips. White chips are hundreds.
Bart,
At live at the
Ken is trying to plug our archives.
Yeah.
bike.com.
But you don't actually have to pay $14.95. You can
Thank you.
check out a replay of the show tonight
Right.
and every night and every day all the way up to 5 p.m. Pacific time the next day.
But if you want to see this show 4 days from now,
Right.
well, then you got to get the archives.
Check that out.
And again, word is that we have on the process of recategorizing some of the... Oh, it's done, I get.
There you go.
Pocket aces here for Eli in the small blind.
He's in really good shape.
There, I don't care if I'm in front of you. I prefer to be.
You look at the two other hands. Native's got 3s, but Gil's got ace 3.
Someone tied in the seat. I swear to God.
$90 there?
It is 90 on the button.
He must sound like
Re-raise, re-raise,
And we're going to have a raise here, I believe, by
290.
Gil, and Eli is going to re-raise. So we had limp, limp, limp. Gil raises with a suited ace to 90, and the small blind makes it 290. Gator quickly folds pocket 3s. And seat 1 is in there with king 10 off suit. Can't imagine he's going to make this call, is he?
Eli's only shown this aggression one at a time pre-flop, and that was
Yeah.
with kings. He didn't even show this kind of aggression with ace-king, so pretty easy hand to get away from if you're Gil.
Seat 2 actually has a hand. We can't see what it is.
And you can see Glenn. Glenn was actually thinking about it, I think only because he wanted to give seat 4 a bad beat.
Now, is Gil going to get involved with this? I wouldn't think so.
No, he's not going to call this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he has position on the guy, but you're not going to put $200 in there.
And
Eli shows
Eli
aces.
shows aces
the
there.
bullets.
There you go.
Shows the bullets.
What's the flop?
George is moving over to seat 6. We're going to play a little musical chairs here.
How did I know that?
And seat number 2, that's Raid, right? Did he rebuy? He's going to
Raid.
move over to seat 9. And you can see the Long Island iced teas there.
4.
Vodka, rum, gin, tequila, sour, splash of Coke, triple sec as well.
Yeah, all the
Substitute
all the white
the
liquors.
light liquors. Substitute blue carousel for triple sec minus Coke, and you have the Adios Mofo.
rind.
What does mofo mean?
You're gonna eat the
Mofo,
rind.
you know.
If
Mofo.
they leave that
Adios,
longer,
mofo.
it's
Adios, I've never heard of it.
no melon.
Adios mofo?
The peel. You're gonna
Okay.
eat the peel.
So I walk into a bar and I ask for an adios mofo?
Yeah, they'll know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what your wife.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Donna.
I'm white and you're chocolate. He's
Lives
falling
around
on the
here.
card. Falling on the.
Looks like we got three-way action.
Check it.
What did Ken order? Did he get the serpent turf?
Well, Ken has got top and bottom pair here. Queen 5-7 on the flop. And Gil is going to come out and bet here with a pair of sevens, and Ken is going to raise him. And Gil looks like he's going to quickly fold. You know, I got to say, and I don't know
What do you have
if
to say?
Gil is going to watch this, but Gil has actually played somewhat disciplined, or I would say remarkably disciplined from what I thought he was going to play. We've only seen him play 2 nights. Seen him get involved with some hands that are somewhat questionable, but he hasn't played like a tournament donk at all.
He's not a tournament donk. This guy, Gil, has been playing poker for 30 years. He's he's a successful businessman, he's a very good poker player, and he's certainly going to be adapting to. I mean, this is a guy. I'll tell you about Gil. Gil never played Mexican poker in his entire life. He went and played in the $300 no-limit Mexican poker tournament and got to the final table. He learned how to play the game in the first 2 levels.
Right.
And he got to the final table. That's a poker player.
Well, poker is poker, like you say, regardless of the game, you know.
So he's not. I mean, I'm not going to say he's one of the better players, one of the better no-limit cash game players, but at the same time, he's definitely going to adapt to this game.
4-way action here. It was limped around here at 6-3-3 on the flop. We can't see George's hand. Turns a 9, and now Nader has ace-9. Looks to be the best hand.
Now George has got 10-6. He actually had top pair on the flop, but he did not bet it.
And now Nader's going to bet.
Button was in seat 5. Nader's going to take this down.
Yep.
Take it down, Nader. Nader's having a great night.
Well, yeah, nothing like sucking out with a set of jacks.
Well, I'll tell you the 2 big winners tonight, and this kind of shows you that, not necessarily the best poker player is going to win every night. Our biggest two winners are Eli and Nader. But, and both of them are winning because of the 2 big suckouts.
Got an email here from a female viewer. I don't know who it is. She says, I'm a female poker fan, and I enjoy your broadcast very much. There are not that many sexy men in poker until Seth. He is so hot. Capitalized. Is he a new player? I think I've seen him on TV before. Has he won any major tournaments lately? Can you get a better shot of him, Isaac? I'll keep on watching. Is that Seth's mom?
I hope not. Man, that's sick.
There's a shot
You
of
from
Seth.
Boston or Alabama? Jeez.
$80.
$80 raise here by Kenna. 6-5 of diamonds.
Is that his
Really
mom?
only a 60, but I stepped out.
Pocket 10s over there for Gil. Looks like he just limped in, Dave. And you wonder, is he gonna pull a limp re-raise here? No, he's just gonna call. I was wondering if maybe he was counting on Kenna making a raise in the cutoff or on the button. 3-way action here. It's about a $250 pot. Here we go. Queen, Queen 9. Gil has the best hand.
The only thing I don't understand about Gil's game now, you see him raising it up with like ace-3 of spades. Why wouldn't you raise with 10s there?
150.
Ken is going to make a continuation bet of 150. And now, if Glenn calls, I think Gil might get away from the hand, but he doesn't. He overcalls, Dave.
Wow.
Wow. Turns a 4. We've got about a $700 pot going here. And now Glenn is playing the hit and run, whatever you call it, stop and go. He's called the flop, and now he's going to bet into the turn.
Yep.
440.
He's going to bet 440. He's betting about the size of the pot. You wonder, though, on that board, would somebody play a queen in this manner?
You might. The thing is, when the second club comes on the turn, you don't want to give a free card. Maybe somebody's got a straight draw if you've got a queen,
Well, he bets 440 here.
I'm just kidding, Bart. Holy cow. You're gonna yell at
What is Kenna doing? He's got 6-5 of diamonds.
Didn't have it.
And seat number 1 actually takes it down with the second best hand there.
Yeah. Well, when he bets there, it really puts.
Oh, because Gil can't. Gil's got Kenna behind him. Gil's squeezed in the middle. It's just it's a horrible spot to be in.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, it's a ballsy,
Dave, you're like an extension of my left arm now these days.
You know, I got to tell you, we've gotten female viewers.
Let's take a look at another chip count here.
Now over 23,000 on the table, folks.
Yeah, this is where these guys are now. Let's take a look at how they've done tonight. Well, Eli up 2,700. Nader only up about 500 for the night.
You know what? He did lose his first two buy-ins.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He
So
lost
there you
his
go.
first two buy-ins. So there you go. Okay, interesting. I was going to say, we've gotten a lot of emails from our female viewers saying how either Jesus is hot, or Seth is hot, or Avo is hot. Nobody's ever emailed us.
I think so in the past.
Maybe they did for you. I don't know. Man,
What do you expect?
no respect, I'll tell you.
7-way action here, limped around. 7-6-3, a couple diamonds. Again, it was limped around here. We get 7-way action. It's a $140 pot. Looks like Gil's got top and bottom pair here, Dave. And he checked it. I mean, he's in middle position here. Is he going for the check raise? I mean, if you let a free card come off on this board, well, where do you know if you're at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the turn's a king. That's actually pretty harmless.
Yeah, that is the perfect card to come off there.
A high blank card.
Well, Seth and Nader now both have a pair. Nader's actually got a gut shot straight draw with top pair.
Gil's
And you
gonna
might get a call here from now.
Gil's going to bet 150. Again, you might wonder if Gil playing it, the fact that Ken is at his left, and maybe he thinks that Ken is going to bet regardless. And he
Well,
gets
Ken has
checked.
got that crazy gambler image, but he's not that much of a gambler, really.
Well, Seth makes the call here with King 9.
And if you're Nader, do you call this going for the 5?
Wow, he's going to overcall with King 4.
Well,
he's
he
got
needs
top pair as well.
He needs a 4 or a 5 here.
Pot's over 500. As we go to the river, Gil's going to have to dodge a lot of cards, and
there
the
it is.
river's a 4, and Nader makes 2 pair. King's up.
Yeah. And it checks around the Seth, I think, right?
Let's see what.
well, I'm going to cancel.
No, the action is still in Nader. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, Gil is going to come out and bet again here. One liner to a straight. Looks like he's betting here.
Wow.
He bets 350.
I
but
think he puts his opponents on a king.
Nader's going to call.
$10,000 available.
And again, I think Gil might have went wrong a little bit there by not betting the flop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously he had to get very unlucky to lose that, but
The other two. Great. Because what it is, it shows that when you're maxing out a
I mean, he was a big favorite on the turn.
Yeah.
Only a 9, a king, a 4, or a 5 would have lost the pot for him.
I don't have any department store card. I'm sure you don't.
Don't have department?
No, they're bad.
Interesting post here by Sushi Jerk. And I always thought this was interesting, too. He says, you got to be kidding me. You can get giant wedges of watermelons served to you at tableside. This place makes Atlantic City look like total crap now. I always thought that was interesting that you can order a whole watermelon here at the bike.
Yeah. I got to tell you, if you are a poker player
Yeah.
and you have not been to Los Angeles and you have not been to Bicycle Casino, you're
Right.
missing out, okay? I know I'm biased, but this is the truth. You can come here, you can get surf and turf served to you
Right, right.
at tableside. You can get filet mignon served to you at tableside. Shrimp cocktail. You don't have to get up off your ass the entire night if you don't want to.
We get a raise here to 110 out of the small blind. That's right. He's got ace queen off.
Because if you're paying it off every month, that's never showing.
There were a couple other posts here saying, boy, this Kenna James guy's funny. Why haven't we heard of him before? He's actually been a commentator on GSN, but he's going to get he's going to be probably one of the most famous poker players once his appearance comes on the WPT a week from tomorrow. Flop comes 10-10-8 here with a couple diamonds. Again, Raid.
Still with the best hand here, but how does he know that? I think he's going to fire, though.
Oh, Dave, guess who's coming to the table in seat 2? Baron
Nah.
Banger Toth's favorites, Corporation Mike. There he is. And we're going to see these two heads butt here, Kenna and Corporation Mike, for the last hour of the show.
Yeah, it should make for a exciting last hour, folks.
So Raid makes the continuation bet here, and it looks like he's going to take it down here with the ace-queen.
You know what's else kind of cool about the bike? Do you realize, we have like a Vietnamese menu, a Chinese menu, an Italian menu,
Thai.
a Mexican restaurant
Mexican.
menu, Thai. We have sushi coming.
It's got some of the best Asian specialties, and also some of the we have some great Mexican things too. They serve a mean ceviche here.
Yeah. I mean, you want breakfast, you have breakfast. You want cereal, you
Right.
get cereal. You want halibut, you get halibut. Whatever you want. Salmon. Bart usually gets some boring, like dry turkey or something, right? Is that your
Usually
favorite?
the steamed fish of the day, steamed broccoli, lots of salt.
I call and say you're ahead of a staffing.
Turkey, no mayonnaise, no mustard, no nothing. Dry.
On toasted sourdough bread. Kind of like rinse your throat out as you swallow. You need a bunch of water to drink it. Now, Eli's going to bring this one in for 120 here with Jack 10 of diamonds. Ken is going to call with 6-7 offsuit. George is in there with a gap-suited connector, 6-4 suited. Seth's going to come in with a double gapper, 8-5 of spades. And we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way
Raised
action.
120, right?
Wow, $600 here to the flop. Jack 10 of diamonds pre-flop raise. So flop comes 6-4-4.
Well, flop full house for seat number 6.
Yep, that's George.
Full house for George. Jeez. Wow.
And Ken is going to bet here. Ken is going to bet on top pair. He's going to bet 240. Let's see how George plays it here, Dave. Is he going to slow play it a little bit here?
So if your pal's payment is probably right around
He's going to
Interesting
make
way
the
of
call.
play it. Yeah, he's just going to smooth call this.
with taxes.
There's a lot of different ways you can play this hand.
At least bare minimum.
Now, if he raises it, there's no way you'd put him on a full house, obviously.
Right, that is one way of playing it. But again, he might think that, Ken, an aggressive player, might keep firing.
No,
So,
I don't mind this play at all because you almost want something to hit off that might get somebody there.
turns an ace.
And Mike is not in the hand, by the way, so he does not have the nut flush draw.
You wanna have
Kenna
an
checks.
looking at it, basically, as it comes
You might.
And George, I love the play by George. He's going to bet him into the pot here. He bets 300. I know sometimes people check the turn here in this spot, but Dave, this is a play that I actually like. Build the big pot up, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always easy when you see the cards. I got to tell you, it's so easy for us. Obviously, we see what everybody has.
Now, you might say against an aggressive player, maybe you check the turn there because Kenna might fire into you inherently on the river,
Well,
right?
the problem is the ace is a scare card, and
Right.
if Ken has got like pocket 8s or pocket 9s, you don't want to represent that ace. That is a scary card for Kenna.
Now, Kenna could actually win this hand if he would chop the hand if a 6 came out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A 6 or an ace there, right? Actually, not an ace.
No, not an ace.
Not an ace.
Just the 6.
George flashes the full house there.
Why does he show? Well, don't show. Don't show. I mean, the surprising thing, the pot was $600 pre-flop, and George took it down pretty easily.
Now Larry Kyla emails again. He says, "Hi, Mike and George."
Well, he does say subject Long Island iced tea.
Right. In Germany, they like to put orange juice in their Long Island iced teas, which for me is blasphemy. For one, because I'm a bartender, and two, because I love Long Island iced tea. I got to agree with you there. Actually, what makes a Long Island iced tea and what makes a lot of drinks is the quality of the sour mix. I was a professional bartender for about 3 years here, L.A. and Boston. So George is going to raise here, ace queen of clubs.
Wants to go see some bears.
Call here by king jack offsuit in seat 9, easily dominated hand by Raid. And Eli's going to call.
Not a hand I like to call raises with. Once again, king jack offsuit.
Eli's dominated here. Wow, king 10-6. George has got the nut club draw with a gut shot to the jack.
George has got a big hand, folks.
And George checks, and he might be going for a check raise here. Raid's going to bet 120 here. And you've got to think if Eli calls, George is going to probably check raise pop it
Well,
here.
you got to realize George is outs here. Look at George; he's 51% here. Any ace comes, he wins the pot. Any jack comes, he wins the pot. And any club comes, he wins the pot.
Eli calls, and let's see what George is going to do here.
Action dries up.
A bet by Raid. Eli calls, and George just calls. Surprising. Well, he's trying to see a turn card, and the turn's a club. He's got the nut flush.
The problem is now, is George going to get paid off, though?
But look at this. I think Eli's going to lead. He's going to try to represent clubs. He leads for 400 right into the turn here from up front.
3,000 minimum.
And now if you're George, how do you play this in the middle? You got the nuts here.
Oh, it's the best card from over there.
It's a $400 bet.
I mean, if a jack come, let's say a jack of spades had come up on the turn,
Yeah.
that would have been a lot more money involved. Because it's harder to put somebody on ace queen unless they have ace queen of clubs specifically.
George is just going to call here. He calls in between.
Well, trying to keep Raid in there.
Yeah, let's see what Raid's going to do.
I mean, these
Raid's
players
got
are all
that.
drawing dead here. George has won the pot.
Eli has a garbage hand. I mean, the only thing that might lose him money is a 10. Oh, the river's a 4th club.
That'll be land base.
And this is going to go bet for him probably now. George bets here. Looks like 500.
Yeah, I know.
But where's
And Eli folds.
Yeah, and the other thing is, see, and George is upset he didn't get paid off here. But the club on the river didn't change anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think if George wants to, if he wants to make more money on these big hands, he's got to play him harder on the flop. When he flops huge, I mean, you think about how many outs he had. I'm trying to think here. He has 3 aces, right? He has 3 jacks.
Well, I mean, I think you make a good point, Dave, because if he check raises the flop there, like you said, against 2 other people, even if he gets a call in 1 or even better in 2 spots, you almost like it because you're building yourself the pot up, and now you got the nuts, boom, on the turn. I think you make make a great point where, again, it's funny how we kind of find new themes as, different periods of our show goes around. And I think one of them is if you want to win a big pot, you have to build it. You can't necessarily depend on other people building it for you, which we sometimes see some people slow play hands to death. Right?
Yeah, it's also a matter of the flushes are so obvious, folks.
Right.
I mean, does he really think if a club comes up, nobody's going to notice it? I mean, you think seat 9's going to be like, wow, I didn't even notice the club is out there.
Right.
You have a flush? What a surprise.
So you would have liked to seen George probably check raise.
Especially with
raise
two
up there on the
players
flop.
in there.
Yeah.
You're getting 2-1 because there are two players in there. Why not check raise it big? Put them to the test right there. If they don't call you, great. You win it without seeing a turn. And if they do call you, well, hey, you built yourself a pot, and you probably got your 50% against two players.
Ace 4-5 here. Couple diamonds. It was limped around. It gets checked over to Raid, who is in position, and he throws a bet in here with top pair.
Nobody's really got much of anything. Gil's got a flush draw.
Gil's got a diamond draw, and he has a wheel draw as well.
You're right.
And he's going to check raise, Dave, with the draw. He's going to check raise semi-bluff here. With 9 deuce of diamonds, he's going to make it 3:30 to go.
I mean, how about that play? Solid.
Turn here is another ace, and I don't know. I mean, now if you're Raid, again, we've seen this case a bunch of times too. He's got ace 3 here.
Well,
How is Gil
now
going to play it?
Gil's gut shot is no good anymore. But if 3 were to hit, obviously, Raid would be full house. So Gil has only got the flush draw, and it cannot be the 3 of diamonds, folks. Or the 4 diamonds.
He's going to bet 330, and Raid quickly calls here with ace 3. But again, it's almost like ace 3 is only a bluff catcher, and the river's a diamond. And Gil makes the flush.
Yeah.
And Gil pretty much moves all in here.
For how much?
I was a little surprised that Raid just didn't move him in anyways, on the turn, because it's only 170, and Gil's going to take down, looks like maybe a $1,500 pot there.
Yeah, I mean, Gil had a big hand on the flop, obviously. Any 3 or any diamond gives it to him. Once the ace hits the turn, Gil's in bad shape there, obviously, because the 4 diamonds is no good, the 3 of diamonds is no good. He is down to 7 outs and only 7 outs.
Well, and again, when you look at trip aces with a garbage kicker there, in that case, you get check raised in the flop. Well, now another ace comes. You're going to sit there and say to yourself, I think you've got to almost trust your reads here. If the guy check raised with a draw, well, I guess I'm ahead now. What can beat me now? Obviously, a bigger ace, maybe 2 pair, right?
Yeah.
Aces with another pair, or even bottom full now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem with playing those small aces. It's really tough to play them strong.
Yeah.
And
you almost have to crawl into a shell and just call and call and call, right?
Yeah.
You can never really play the hand hard. Glenn's got pocket 3s here. Button moves over here to Gil and C3. And Corporation Mike here popped it up here with 7-8 offsuit. He made it 80 to go. And we're going to love seeing Kenna and Mike in the same hand. Kenna calls. And seat number 1 here, Glenn's in there. And we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4. $320 pot. Mike, the pre-flop raiser, and the flop comes 10, 9, 8. Mike has got an open-ended straight draw and a pair. Seth has got middle pair with a gut shot to the jack. Mike bets 200 here on the flop. Kenna gets out of there. Seth makes the call with queen 9. I don't know. Glenn's asking Seth how much you have left, but he only has pocket 3s here. Seth's in real good shape here. I mean, if a jack were to come, Mike would have a straight, but Seth would have the higher straight, and he has a better hand right now with middle pair.
I got to tell you, from watching this for the last couple hours, I really do like Glenn's game in seat 1. Heavy there.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty solid player.
Turns a blank here. It's the deuce of hearts. It goes check, check, and the river is a jack. There's the jack card.
Is Mike going to get in trouble here?
Well, it's just a bet and a call. A $300 bet here by Seth, and Mike calls with the bottom end of it, and Seth's going to take it down there with the queen.
Take it down.
Email here from Chad Seschler. Says, hey, Dave, I'm a bisexual male, live the bike fan, and I find you extremely attractive. There you go. And an email here from Dave in Ohio. Maybe Donna can tell Kenna that the guy emailed us. Thanks for the plug for Kenna's site. And that's actually his webmaster, Dave in
Her
Ohio.
impression of you is the same impression that I had the first time I met you.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
You want to elaborate?
Well, you know what kind of start we got off to.
This is a little rocket.
Yeah. She didn't like you guys making fun of Alan.
How about the other night when you said he asked her if the road drive?
Limped around here, Dave.
No.
Limped around.
Got about an hour left in the show.
6 later. I didn't know.
6 ways, $120 pot to the flop. Flop is 10 Jack Queen, folks. And wow, what a flop for seat number 7. Seth he's got a straight already, and he's got an open-ended straight flush draw.
Yep. Got the bottom end of it here.
Now, in a raised pot, you'd have to worry about ace-king, but I think he feels pretty confident that he's got a big hand. Now, you wonder if Glenn is going to get himself in trouble. He's got Jack 10. He's got 2 pair.
Calling the Dolphins one thing, but then
Let's see if Seth is going to make the check raise here. This is not the kind of hand that I would necessarily just call. There's a lot of action killers that can come here on the turn, right? Seth is just... Oh, Seth is going to raise to 180. I mean, if you just call here, Dave, and let's say king comes, where are you now?
Yeah, well, the flush is now there. It's actually a bad card, I think, for Seth. Might kill his action.
And he bets it, and Jack 10 makes the call.
Yep.
Oh, and the river's a 4th club. Wow. Seth is going to bet 500 here.
Wow, it's a pretty big bet. I mean, you figure if somebody had an ace, a king, or a queen,
Yep.
maybe you would have heard from him, but
No.
Glenn can't even call with 2 pair anymore.
Yep.
Now, the only thing that was interesting, the reason I say the 3 of clubs is actually a bad card, had it come out like a 3 of spades there, if Seth bets into him, Glenn might have raised with 2 pair there.
Yep.
On the turn.
I think I said it more than once.
The club comes up, and that kind of kills the action.
and then I said, no.
On the topic of random cocktails, as I see some people
Yeah.
writing, you ever heard, you know what a surfer on acid is?
I have heard of that.
Malibu, Jaeger, and pineapple juice. It's quite interesting. Also, there's a drink with Goldschlager butter nips. Oh, an oatmeal cookie. Goldschlager, butter nips, and milk. Tastes just like an oatmeal cookie.
We all put in 100.
It's great.
And just,
I'm not sure what Goldschlager, Rumpelmitz, and Jaeger are. I haven't bartended in about 2 years, so.
You haven't bartended 2 years? Okay. Yeah, I haven't bartended in about
Oh yeah, you
wanna
used
say
to
7
bartender too, right? Yeah.
7.5 years.
King Jack Deuce here, a couple hearts. Queen 10's open-ended there for Nader.
Kind of cool. We've hired a new professional photographer for Live at the Bike stuff. His name is Isaac.
Limped around, checked around on the
All right, I'm
flop.
going to get serious now.
Turns
Deuce on the turn.
deuce.
Yeah.
100.
And Seth has got a deuce.
Yeah, he's going to bet 100 here. Deuce 10.
Alan, we're just talking about
And
you.
does anybody have
What's
a
the
king?
guy-
You wonder, is Nader going to get involved with open-ended? No, he stores it away. And nobody else here can really call, I do
I
not
was
think.
actually giving them a hard time because
Alan,
actually my
put
wife
your
had
name up there.
Hey, Alan, I didn't tell you the
It's
truth.
not on
I think Ken is talking to Alan.
Hey, Ken is married to Barbara...
Marsha Wagner.
Marsha Wagner, right? Thank you. Because Marsha was in the shootout last night too. I wonder how she did. Talk about a poker husband and wife team there, huh?
Let's see if we can hear Ken talk to Alan here. Oh, maybe not. Too much talking. I'm sure that Mike and Kenna want Alan in the game. And Alan is up next. You know how inherently Mike goes on tilt when Alan is in the game.
You know, he just loves to ride, Alan.
Yeah.
Loves to ride.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
I'm going to wear the skirt.
Gonna wear the skirt.
It's funny, we're getting word that Alan had a chance to be in this game, but he passed it up. But now that Mike is in the game, he wants in the game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You want a cocktail?
I'll tell you, I want in the game. How do I get in the game?
They don't allow you
You're
to gamble
Muslim?
either. They don't allow you to gamble either.
I wonder if that 30 Omaha game's still going over there in the corner, Donna.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe I can get my name on the board for that.
Aren't you?
Ken is going to raise it up here in seat 5.
Wear a certain kind of dress.
Ace 10
And
offsuit.
he's in a good spot here because he can raise in a cut-off seat a lot of times. And unless George has got a real big hand, George is not going to call. And Ken can buy himself the button by raising in a cut-off seat there.
Seth is going to call with King 9 of diamonds here.
In the small blind, not a hand that I like to call raises with from any position.
Gil calls with pocket deuces. So we're going to see three-way action.
I'm just not
here.
sure what I'm looking for when I have King 9 of diamonds.
Jack deuce 6, Gil's flop, bottom set here. Let's see how he's going to play it. Now, no one else has much.
Yeah. Cannon does have the ace of clubs if it comes out runner. But you can look at the overwhelming favorite that Gil is.
My turn. It's my turn.
It's Kenneth's turn here.
This is your brain head. This is your brain head.
Yeah, he just sucked that Long Island down pretty quick, Dave. That's got to kind of make you feel a little loopy.
Yeah.
And he took a card, Dave. It got checked around. The turn's a 7 here.
Yeah, and I want to say both players are drawing dead, and they are.
Now Gil's going to bet 300.
And he's probably going to take it down. Neither player has a pair.
And oftentimes, as we point out, you know, just because you hit your set and you've called a raise and you're going to say make 10 or 15 times the amount, unless the guy has an overpair, he might have been raising with 2 high cards like Kenna did. He didn't hit the flop.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's one of the things I
Yeah.
really always like to say. Even though you will hit your set 1 out of, say, 7.5 times in the flop, you really should have to make almost 1 out of 10 for all the times you don't get paid off.
Right.
Muslims that live in America don't like that.
There's also those times that you actually get reverse implied odds. On the rare occasion, this is always going to happen to the no-limit player, and this is where you lose a lot of money when you flop set over set. And it actually, you know, it's only happened to me once or twice live, but online it's much more common as you see more hands.
There's also obviously the chance you can still flop a set and lose.
Yeah.
People for some reason think, oh, if I flop a set, I'm automatically going to win.
yeah.
People can get flushes on you. People can get straights on you.
The other hands that I've actually lost a decent amount of money with, Dave, is on an unscary flop, and someone's played an aces tricky against my kings.
There you go.
Pre-flop, you know.
Ace king on the button. He's going to raise it up, and he makes it 140. I want to say.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody's going to call this. Is Gil going to call this ace 5?
Gil's in with ace 5 of diamonds. He's played those ace suited cards to raises all night long.
I mean, I understand being in there for $20, but you're really going to call this 100?
130 more.
130 more to him. I mean, that's just out of position, 130, and he's going to call.
I want to see, though, we've seen Gil play this hand all night long. What if an ace comes? I want to see how he's going to play it. We haven't seen him flop an ace yet, but I really want to see if an ace comes, if he's going to get in trouble. Well, queen 10-8 here. Again, a horrible flop for ace 5 of diamonds. Seth has got a gut shot to the jack here.
I mean,
and this one goes check. Seth did not bet the flop. Wow. That's really surprising with a couple Broadway cards. Check again. The river's a queen. And now is Gil going to fire out at it? No. It's almost, it almost gets to a point also, Dave, where if it's getting checked to me on the flop, and for some reason I check behind, and then the guy checks to me on the turn and I check behind, I almost have to call a river bet with ace king, don't I?
well, especially if the board pairs a queen, yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised Seth didn't bet the flop. I mean, I think it's a pretty obvious continuation bet there, especially you've got overcards with the gut shot.
Right.
I got to really question Gil's calling a raise there. Now, I mean, I don't really ever want to call with a weak ace suit there, but I especially don't want to call heads up out of position. I mean, hey, 7 people call, sure.
Raid's got pocket aces here in seat 9. And I think I agree with you, Dave. I've been probably most impressed by Heavy's play over there in seat number 1.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see him. He took a terrible beat right when the show, terrible beat when the show started, but he didn't really go on tilt. And he's rebuilt the stack up to the point where he's got a lot of money now.
Now, this is funny. Mike is straddling here, and I don't know if Raid knows Mike. Some people would just call here in the small blind with aces, counting on the fact that Mike might jack it up out of the straddle spot like he often does. But he's going to raise. And again, Mike might do that maybe 30 to 40% of the time.
And Mike's going to call this, I think.
Yeah, he's in position.
And he does. He calls. The problem is I'm not sure if Raid. Now, I know Mike's got plenty of money. I don't think Raid has enough money to make this call, though.
Well, I like 9-10 a lot better than King 10, but Nader's going to come in behind here, it looks like, Dave.
Yeah,
Wow.
And Nader's got position, but who cares about position when you got King 10? Those are the kind of hands I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What do you want to hit King 10? I mean, obviously Queen Jack 9, but was short of that.
Well, 7-6-4 here. Mike's got a gut shot with overcards. It's a $600 pot, and like you said, I think Raid's pretty much just going to bet all in. He's going to move all in for 500, it looks like. Unless he has, he's got more chips, actually. He's going to make a nice pot-sized bet. But look, he only has another 500 left, right?
And that's the point. Now, if you're going to make a big call pre-flop with 9-10, I want my opponent to have 4,000 or 5,000, and me to have 4,000 or 5,000. I just pointed out that I just don't think Raid had enough money for Mike to make that call. And I got to tell you, I just don't understand any time calling a big raise with King 10, King 9s. I mean, those hands, what do you want to hit? You hit a 10, you have no idea if you're good. You have a king, you have no idea you're good.
Really?
I mean, I guess 2 pair, but what are the odds of hitting 2 pair or better?
Come on, register at the Knockout Bart tournament. Please. Come knock me out. It's a $100 bounty on my head.
Somebody please knock him
10
out.
10+1. Let's go. Let's get it on. Go over to the LAPokerScene.com.
I think they're scared of you, Bart.
Yeah, apparently. I haven't seen any new registries on there from tonight. Come on, Russ McGinley. Come and get me. I can beat you with pocket kings against pocket aces, too, pre-flop.
Bring it.
Limped around here. Maybe we can get Russ Fox to play in the tournament too, Dave.
Yeah, that'll really shake things up. Mr. Excitement?
Six-way action.
9-5-3, a couple of spades.
Big hand here.
Yeah, big flop for Seth.
Seth's got 9-10 of spades.
That happens to me a lot. I'll raise and I'll have no idea what I have. 60.
You like that, Mike Suzette?
Well,
Sometimes I raise, I have no idea what I have.
now Eli's actually going to lead out with the best hand here. He's got King 9. Again, the flop is 9-3-5 with 2 spades.
Really catching this kind of rush.
And Seth is going to raise it up here to 160.
Yeah, I like the play. I like raising with that hand. I really do. Right away, you put pressure on your opponent. Your opponent has no idea where you are. And if your opponent just calls and you have position on him, you can take the free card on the turn if you want to.
Well, and this really, like you said, puts King 9 in a tough spot, but he's going to make the call.
Yeah, and now with 9-10, you have the option to take the free card.
Oh, look at that.
Watch Eli check it. See, he's
Yeah.
going to check it, and he checks behind him.
Seth checks right behind him. Oh, the river is an 8.
And Eli makes no extra money on the pot. That's why. What's one of the reasons you raise that.
And now Eli's going to bet 300. Now what do you need to evaluate to possibly call here on the river?
That's an easy throwaway. It's an easy throwaway there.
Do you think so? Should the guy be bluffing
well,
with
think
something
about
here?
it. Well, what is he bluffing with? Remember, you have spades. Unless he has 6-4, specifically 6-4,
Right.
he really doesn't have much of a draw. If you put him on a 9, he probably either has
Has you
9-8
uptakes, yeah.
or 10-9. If he has 9-8, he has you beat.
Right.
And 10-9 is a chop, so why call?
Well, Seth makes the call.
Well, what do I know?
Well, how about Queen 9, King 9, and Ace 9, all of which you can't beat?
Right.
And then Eli's
I mean, the only hand you can really beat there is 6-4, but then you start manufacturing hands that you can beat. You've got to realize I'm on the draw, I have the flush draw. He probably doesn't. He probably has a pair.
2 people, 1 buy-in. Which is 10,000. So both cost.
I mean, I really like the raise on the flop by Seth, and then I like the fact that he took the free card.
I remember this now, as Ryan 92584 on 2 plus 2 has corrected me. Liquid cocaine shots. Goldschlager, Rumpelmix, and Jägermeister.
It sounds like a joyous drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth's got pocket 6s here.
What about flopping them here? How about just trying
George is going to make it 120 to go from up front with 8-9 of clubs here.
Wow. Now, that's a hand I love to raise in late position to buy myself the button, but raising it in early position with players with some players behind you, if you don't buy yourself the button, then what do you do?
And Gil is in there once again with a suited ace.
Well, I mean, George's got bottom pair with an open-ended straight draw.
And it's actually, he says, the best hand.
He does, you're right. Actually, yeah, he does. You're 100% correct.
You want to go?
Checked, and let's see if George is going to bet now.
You should go.
And now if you're Seth, well, Seth's not even going to get involved. I mean, do you put the guy maybe on ace-king, or you figured you would bet the flop there?
That's what you do.
Is Gil going to get involved with this? I mean, I just can't imagine Gil getting involved with this at this point.
He's got the bottom end of an open-ended straight draw. There's 2 spades on one.
I mean, to me, this is raise or fold spot here, huh?
There's also other stuff.
I mean, Gil needs an ace and only an ace to win the pot. I think he's going to throw it away. He does.
Again, I want to say we haven't seen Gil get involved with that hand when he's hidden ace. And I mean, you can play those ace rag suiteds, but you're not looking to hit an ace. And Dave, 9 times out of 10, when we see a player play that hand, they get involved when an ace comes, right? And they lose a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, you can. A lot of times, I mean, if I'm playing an ace small suited, an ace wheel card suited, what I want to hit. I want to hit 2 pair, or I want to hit my off card. I want to hit my bottom card trips. I want to hit a flush. I want to hit a straight. Ace is not what I want. Not at all. You got to realize, obviously, you're going to win a small pot or lose a big one with that one.
Now he's blaming the Citron, this guy.
But we're going to have that again, too. When is that? When is the next one of that?
Monday night.
Monday night, but I won't be here. We'll be in here. I'll be huh?
Limped around here. And Raid's going to take it down there, it looks like. Made a little raise.
That would make for an interesting little poker tournament. How about Kenneth James and his wife, Marsha Wagner, versus Mike and his mom, Trish?
Yeah. And people have seen Marsha Wagner on the Travel Channel because she was in this year's ladies event.
Yeah, that's 4 people that really know how to play poker. Make for some entertaining little night.
Is this your clavicle?
Email here from Chris in Wisconsin. He was talking about the fact that last night I was giving a quick and dirty way of calculating percentages after the flop by multiplying times a certain number of outs on the flop or on the turn. And what I was referring to, Chris, is if you actually multiply your outs on the flop by 4, you get a rough estimate as to what your percentages are of winning the hand.
Yeah, of hitting that. That's right.
On the turn, multiply it by 2. Now Kenna is going to re-raise here with king, queen suited. Mike brought it in with deuce 3 of spades, and Kenna comes over the top. Now Seth has played pretty tight. I can't imagine he's going to get involved here.
And look at Kenny. He's playing the player here. He's raising from out of position with king, queen, and he's going to take it down.
No, I think Mike is going to call, and he does call.
Is he? Oh, wow. Thank you.
And if spades come here, this could be huge. Here we go, the two monsters. $500 pot. Ooh, jack 7-6 here. I saw one spade. It goes check, check here on the flop, Dave. Turns a 4, and now Mike's got a straight draw. Check, check again. The river's a jack, and Mike's going to have to bet here. Wow, Mike does not bet. Mike just kind of gave up on it there.
I think he wanted to show 3 high.
How strong is this guy?
Wow. And the funny thing is, would Ken have called with king high there on the river?
He
Mike
might
bet.
have. I think he might have. I don't know. Would have been funny.
Dealer?
So just to give you an example, if let's say you've got a flush draw and you calculate your outs as 9 outs,
right.
On the flop, 9 times 4, you'd have about a 36% chance.
Exactly.
On the turn, 18% chance.
Right.
That's right.
And that's really right where the cutoff is, because if you have 13 outs in the hand, that's really pretty much the midpoint of when you are favored, or it's 50-50. You multiply 13 times 4 is about 52.
Live at the bike.
Yeah, that's why you say it's rough. Actually, 13 outs, you're actually more like 47%, but it gives you a nice rough idea.
Depending on the redraws, right?
Yeah.
But 14 is really the marker, isn't it?
Yeah, more than 50. If you have 15 outs or more, you're generally a favorite. 14 outs or less, you're generally a very small underdog.
Really? I thought 14 outs you were favored.
No, I
Semantics
believe
again.
14 clean outs, you're small. I mean, it's like literally 49-51.
14 outs twice, that would be 28 outs with about 46 unseen cards?
Yeah, I mean, that was a general rule I've always gone by. When I punch it into the computer, that's
I think
what
your
it
rule
is.
is 1 card off.
It could be. You're right. I could be wrong.
Ace 10-7 here.
Somebody help me out. Check it out. Go to the Pokulator at liveatthebike.com and give me the data.
Glenn is going to bet here 140, and Mike is going to call, and Mike has just called. He's got top and bottom here. He's slow playing it a bit here.
And you wonder, is Glenn familiar with Mike?
Turns a 4. Well, I think Glenn's going to shut down now. Well, maybe not. I mean, once you get called on the flop,
Is he putting out a little bit of a... No, he's not. I was going to say maybe a little soft blocker bet.
he's going to bet 350 here. And Mike has got he's got 2 pair here, aces up, and Glenn is basically drawing dead here.
Why does it say 7%? I'm trying to figure it out.
Because if a 10 were to come,
No, that's a chop.
it would be a chop, right? Exactly.
That's not win, though. Usually it
No.
only gives you the wins. That's why I'm a little... trying to think of a way for him to win the pot. Can he...
Well, Mike just makes the smooth call here again, and the river's a deuce. And this pot's about $1,000 here, folks. And what, is Mike waiting to the river to raise?
I think so.
It's an $800 bet on the river here. And now, I mean,
Mike can really only lose to a set. Mike never raised him.
I think, did Mike move all in there? No, he just made the
Just
call.
Yeah, he said I'm all in.
Oh, wait a
No, he
minute.
did say I'm all in. He
Oh.
said I'm all in, and Glenn called.
Yeah, but I don't think Glenn realized it, though. Oh, maybe so. Wait, Mike's going to take it down there. He waited to the river to raise
Well,
there.
there's no way Glenn can get away from the pot's like almost. The pot is like $2,600, $400 more to call.
You know, I'm a little surprised from what we saw of Heavy. You know,
I'm all in.
he kept firing with ace-3 there.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
Well, and that's the nature of no limit hold'em. You can play pretty solid poker for
Right.
2 hours and 20 minutes, get one bad beat, or in this case, really misplay or overplay a bad hand badly, and lose all your money.
The guy who busted me in the
You know, we always talk about no limit hold'em. It's a game of mistakes. The people that make fewer mistakes and the people that capitalize on your mistakes are going to be the most
So
successful
he
in
went
this
over to
game.
ask Corporation Mike, loan me $500. The guy's got plenty of money.
Pocket
right?
kings here. Seat
Obviously.
1.
But Mike says, no, I'm a little short.
Now we get an email here from Mike Antolini that I'm going to get to in a second.
Obviously not short. So the guy got mad.
Well, what I was going to say was this is actually a
Yeah.
strategy email, and we probably might do it on a segment.
Exactly.
Not read it right now.
Right.
So hold tight, Mike, and we'll probably put it on the website.
Diablo. So it's
So Raid's got kings here.
So Diablo takes his 500 because you can only get 500 out of the ATM because he wouldn't loan him the 500.
Kinda listen to
Goes
Ken
over
in the
plays
background
on
here.
His,
He's so entertaining, isn't he?
$500. Wins the hand and buys into the tournament. If he loses the hand, he's out. He's lost it, right? But he was so mad because he wouldn't give him the 500. He went and betted against him and he won. That allowed him to play the tournament, which allowed him to bust me. which allowed him to win the last one. I mean, that's strong. That's strong.
Man, that's a bad beat, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's Ken and James' way of looking at things.
Right.
Everybody should have Kenneth's perspective.
Oh, I don't know
I
if he
thought
knocked
that kid knocked you out with the king
Oh, that's
three.
right. Yeah, the king knocked me out of the king three. That's right. Was that 20 or 100 or
100.
Mike raised it up here to 100 with Queen 8 suited. Eli called.
because it was stuck.
Kenna called.
I got a good feeling about this hand. I can tell you right
Kenneth
now,
got a good
I
feeling about
better
6-8
than
of clubs.
three high.
Let's see if his good feeling is going to be rewarded.
Well, I don't mind calling a raise there when you're deep stacked on the
No,
cutoff
in late
there.
position, why not?
Okay.
Four-way action here, $400 pot. Mike brought it in with Queen 8. Actually, five-way action.
Oop, set of deuces for George.
Yep. George's got a set of deuces here.
Nobody has anything.
Yeah. Again, here we go again when we talk about.
Yeah. And it's a little different case, though, because in this case, there are 4 players involved. Actually, 5 players
You went
involved.
with it, though. That was good.
And again, no one really has any piece of this whatsoever except for George.
Now, I got to tell you,
And George checked on the button. The turn's an 8. Now Mike has a pair.
They always give you one more than you ask for.
Now, some people will say, hey, check it to let somebody get something. But oftentimes, I will bet that on the button and make it look like it's a button steal.
Well, now George is going to raise him. And this just smells like George was kind of playing a hand kind of slow on the flop. Because have we ever seen George make moves like this at this level? I mean, very, very rarely. I've seen him do it in the 5-10 game before. But I don't know on the show if I've ever seen him, say, make a check on the flop and then raise the turn with nothing.
Yeah,
Like with a flush draw, have we ever seen him do it?
Yeah, the only thing that's odd is, I mean, I guess you raise it there because there is a draw there.
Well, Ken is trying to figure out how much money George has behind, but a 6 or an 8 is not going to help Ken here. Because
Ken is obviously drawing dead.
He is drawing dead.
Um,
And obviously that 8 didn't complete anything in terms of a straight, Dave. It was a rainbow flop. So you've got to really think of it that George is either raising on some sort of a draw, or he's just making a stone cold bluff. And again, I haven't seen really George do that.
Right. The problem is, let's just say, for example, George has got a bluff. Let's say George has got Jack 9 of diamonds, okay?
Right.
And he misses. Is Kenna prepared to spend, call $1,500 bet on the river?
Ace 8 no good. Ace 8 100. Nobody bet the 10.
You have AC. You had
Bet your hand. You're
10
back there. It looks like a steal. You know what I mean?
And I just wanted to get to that email really quick. I'm actually not going to answer it, but I just want to say here, Mike Antolini asked the question, hey guys, can you guys talk about playing middle pairs like 7s to 10s in middle position when it's folded to you? And like Bart said, that is the exact type of questions, that we're going to be answering in our kind of like our roundtable, poker roundtable segment. So look for it on LiveToBike.com.
I can take him outside, punch him in the face if you want.
That's actually a great idea, Ray. Ray just suggested that we have our viewers submit possible names for our segment. I've actually come up with either, we could call it the inside straight. Ray came up with the double gutter, or we could, of course, call it the poker roundtable. So let us know what we should call that segment, please.
One more in front.
We'll give you credit. Another great idea by Ray. Ray said, whoever wins will get a lifetime subscription to a free webcast.
There you go.
Now he's
Wow.
putting yellow. You got to put anything but $10 to you.
Sign of weakness. Stone.
This time has just flown by.
Four-way action here. Queen 9-4 rainbow is limped around.
I think Raid has the best hand here. With a pair of 9s, backdoor diamonds.
You know what? Last time I played on Live at the Bike, I wore this same shirt. They're going to think I never changed my shirt. No?
Well, Raid, actually Mike made it 60 with bottom pair. George called. George, he's got to be just setting up a move here, Dave, right? He's got no draw.
I assume so.
Turns an ace.
What is he going to play like he has Jack 10?
Mike checks, and George is going to bet. He bets 200.
With George's image, I like the play by George there.
And George shows the bluff to Kenna.
With George's image, he can make that play because, Mike obviously thinks, well, my hand can't be good.
10-4 of hearts.
Hey, I got to tell you, Bart, Jay Jay Siegel from 2+2 actually came into the production room before our show, and he did a card trick for us.
Somebody get a muzzle.
It was fantastic.
Really?
Remember that magician guy we used to have on the show, like maybe like 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
You look like you
He
have a
blew
lot.
him away.
I
I mean, this is a
Blew away
really
with
cool.
those aces trick.
Yeah, this guy was. I mean, it was a great trick. He said he's going to do it for you on Thursday.
Got a new chip count here. You can see the Corporation Mike covering the table.
Yeah, almost $30,000 on the table, folks.
Let's take a look at what these players are at now. Eli up 2,500. Mike, wow. Mike's up 1,000, huh? Yeah, with that hand with the ace 7.
Yes.
Ken is down about 700.
And it says Glenn is only down 1,300. Really?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How is Glenn only down
You
1,300?
did what play? I heard he was on fire.
And it's between losing his entire stack to Mike and losing his entire stack to Eli.
Did he? Oh, he was. Well, that's no surprise. But
I mean, you'd imagine he's probably down a little bit more than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would think so.
he still won like 60,000. Hey.
Good look at Randy.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad he was there. I'm glad. I actually heard that.
Randy's a good guy.
Yes.
Butt moves over
Real
to
nice
seat
guy.
9.
So I'm sure he's thrilled that I'm happy for him. I'm
One
sure
for
he's thrilled
correction,
about
please.
that. What? It's not. I hope not. I mean, I only donated about 80,000 to his game in the last 6 months. Still, you know.
Again, tomorrow night, tune in. We'll be doing 25-50 no limit here, Dave.
Yeah.
And it's,
Real
word
sense.
is that there might be some heavy 2+2 hitters in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
some
that'll be fun.
well-known posters in the high limit, no limit forum. I know that they PM'd us a couple days ago. I haven't really heard from them since.
Yeah, the
but-
game should be good. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Jonas is coming in town. He actually already asked me and Mo to reserve him a seat.
Actually-
Ken actually said he's going to be here tomorrow night
And
as well.
Richie Rich from last week wants to play in the game too, and he's going to be here as well.
Well, hey, if you want to play in the game, folks, and you're
Right.
listening, come early
Yeah.
Crazy.
because it will fill up quickly. We'll probably have 2 tables tomorrow night. And if you're interested, tomorrow night's tournament, Winning at the Green, obviously today was a no-limit hold'em bounty. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is, oh wow, this is exciting, folks. Tomorrow is a 7-card stud high-low tournament, so bring your oxygen tanks.
Oxygen tanks at the table.
Exactly.
Yeah. After this hand, maybe we can pan over to that 7 stud high-low table. It's always a lot of kicks for me.
What do you mean, man?
Limped
You
around
put it in
here.
your house and then you put the set.
The most bitter people in the world. That
It's
7-card
actually
stud
kind of
high-low.
depressing, but you know, since I started working at the bike, like 4 regular stud high-low players
I know,
have
and
passed away.
you're not kidding.
No.
No. Ace, Jack, Queen here, a couple hearts.
I mean, we have like 22 regulars, I'd say, that, you know, come in and out and play stud high-low. 4 of them. I mean, we're talking like, what, 20% of our stud high-low players have passed away in the last 2 years?
Seth looks like what it looks to be his first bluff of the night there with 8-6. He's going to take it down. Yeah, if you just pan up there to the next table. Oh, that's usually it right
No,
now.
it's one on the left, actually, 1 over.
Who chip was this? Man, you're the ones coming. Give me one of
I
those.
raised with that. That's why I want to get rid of it.
Butt moves over here to Mike.
It's one game I do miss, though. I used to play a lot of stud high-low, and since I've been playing almost exclusively no-limit hold'em lately, I haven't been able to play as much stud high-low. I do miss it.
You know, I was playing 30-60 Omaha, Dave, and even though I love the game, I still think I can make more money in no limit.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting there for 2 hours and I made about $200. Good, but still,
Yeah, but yesterday you made 1,500,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, 30-60 Omaha plays pretty big, doesn't it?
Inside.
I'm not. I can never win with these hands. Ace, queen, ace, jack. I don't know what to do with it.
And we're going to say this 3 ways. Mike had raised on the button
I don't think I've ever won.
to $80. Gets called in 2 spots. The pot is $240 to the flop, folks.
Yep.
Look at Mike raising. Mike can raise with anything, folks. It's one of the reasons it's really hard to play a player like that. You never know what Mike has.
Well, Glenn is going to come out and bet here with King 9. He's got second pair.
Raise it up.
Ace, jack. I thought you were going to give me another bad beat, friend.
Glenn is still bitter about that bad beat. Look at that.
Yeah.
Man. I got to tell you, if you want to be a successful poker player, you really have to have a short memory in the sense of your bad beats. You know, it's kind of like being a successful really in anything. If you're, you know, if you're a golfer, you know, and you take a bad shot, you got to just let it go.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
they have everyone a power check.
Kind of playing a little short here. We're only playing six-handed now. So the game
we've got
changes up.
3 people out of the hand.
Whatever you got to make up, doesn't matter to me. Try again.
Your position on me? I like it.
If you flop a pair or something, just check it, because I'll bet it for you. Alan. Oh.
Mike is going to raise here with Jack, deuce of spades. Raid's in the hand, and George is in the hand with 8-9 offsuit. Here we go with the flop.
Probably 75%.
10-3-8, all clubs. Now Reed's got the queen of clubs in his hand. George's got middle pair, and Mike has absolutely nothing.
And you can see here, even though George is the best hand right now, Raid is actually a favorite because he has overcards and the queen of clubs.
Mike bets, George folds.
You have one club, Muck.
220, and Mike tells Raid if you have one club, muck. There it is.
Well, there you go.
He shows the Jack deuce of spades.
Jack Deuce.
And once again, Bart, you are correct. I'm wrong here. Thank you to Jay Siegel. He shows us that 13 outs is 48%, and 14 outs is 51.16%.
There you go.
So I guess 14 outs makes you a small favorite. Good to know.
Push this hand through yet. I'm tired of
Looks like Ken is back at the table.
7-5.
When are we golfing for some scratch, bud?
We should. You know how much I gave away on the golf course last night?
Wow, bad. Never played me much. No.
Button is in George's hand in seat 6.
Where?
Rio Honda. But I won today.
I'm just playing Rio Honda. Man, that's why don't you play good track?
We do. We play good checks on
And Mike raises it up.
Just it's close. I don't know. We just get used to it.
He's going to make it 80 to go.
And he's going the speed limit here. He's got 55.
Eli's going to call with 9-7 of spades.
Tell you what,
Looks like Ken is going to call. We can't see what he has.
He didn't know
I
you were
swear to
there.
God, it was like literally subconscious. I had no idea what I was doing. I don't even know what I have right now.
Ken has got queen deuce of clubs. Wow, and look at seat 1. Glenn is going to come back over the top. I think he was in the straddle spot. He's going to make it 500, Dave, with 6-8 of hearts. It was an $80 raise by Mike under the gun. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 500 in dead money.
Well, he's gonna pretty much raise the pot.
Yeah,
And you know what? Can anybody call?
he's made it 500 to go here.
Got a half hour left.
I mean, I love the way that Glenn is really aggressive. He mixes up his aggressiveness. He does pick his spots. Obviously he overplayed that ace the way before, and he lost his entire stack, and that's what you got to get rid of, obviously, in this
If you
game.
had more chips,
I have the hand that you couldn't bust me with last night.
I don't think anybody can call this, can they?
If you have more chip, I can.
That's what everyone kept saying. You don't have enough chips, so I can't call. Nader was actually in great shape there with 6s.
I'm going to call 400 and see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now Mike might have called if he was in late position. He is the type of gambler that'll do that, but with 5 players left behind him, he can't do it.
Enjoy it.
You know you're going to have to call a bet on the flop. What's the point? 2-8.
And is he going to show? He does. He shows the 8 high. Takes down $500 in dead money. And Mike says, I knew you had garbage, but I can't call those players behind me.
Anybody see the flop?
Yeah.
Thanks, Gonzo. That'd be
6 hearts.
But moves over here to seat 7, Seth. Got about 20 minutes left in the show.
Last time I won a hand, the card.
Once again, thanks everybody for the emails. We really like to keep the show as interactive as possible.
Hey, what happened to you, man? You used to give me a lot of
If you want to
action.
email us, you can email us at
Saw you
live@thebike.com.
sweep us a few times and start playing tight.
What do you make it, 20?
Mike's going to limp in here. Kenna limps in.
Can't rattle the guy.
George is limped in here.
Start calling you Alan.
That's Alan.
5-way action, limped around.
Ah.
All hearts on the flop. King, queen, 6.
I check.
Now, George has queen 10 with the 10 of hearts. Let's see if he bets if he gets checked to him. But Ken is going to come out and bet with the deuce of hearts. He bets 110. And George is trying to think about it here. He doesn't know what he's going to do.
6-8 of hearts against 2
He gets away from it,
Yeah,
Dave.
he's not going to get involved. And I don't mind the lay down there. You're just not quite sure where you're at. I mean,
saw this hand played one
are you
time.
rooting for a heart? Are you not rooting for a heart?
Right.
Show him how to really play. Huh?
I know some people could make the argument that you could call one time in position and see what Kenna does on the turn.
I tell you, you got to teach me how to play the game.
But once again, we always talk about picking your spots in the no-limit game, and I guess maybe George figured he can pick a better spot, put his money in the pot.
Yeah, I know how to play video.
All right, I'm going to reform my
Butt moves over to Nader, and Mike is going to straddle it up here.
So you're going to, is it going to be a double fist night tonight, bro? A little Omaha night? Or no?
Well, I heard that the game is short over there, so probably not.
No.
Plus, I don't like to do that when I have to work the next day, too, Dave. I just feel like shit, Straddled by Mike.
They might get 5-4 offsuit.
I pop it 400, I take it down.
Well, it's going to get limped around to Mike. And he's got 4-5. He might just tap the table on this one. Let's see. Well, Raid, he's got ace-jack offsuit, and he's going to raise. He's going to make it 240 to go here, and I don't think he has enough money for Mike to call, but Mike is going to call. I think Raid only has like 1,000 left, Dave. I mean,
and Mike's got to realize that. He's got to look at how much money the Razor has.
Right.
If the Razor's got 4,000, it's different here, but the implied odds just aren't there with 5-4.
And is Eli going to call with up and down suited, those cards that we hate? King 5 of clubs.
This hand is 200 apiece.
George, it's your turn, man. There's someone waiting.
So we're going to see it 3 ways here. It's going to be about a $900 pot. Ace-Jack raised it up pre-flop from the blind. He's first act. Here we go. 8-7-7. Well, this misses everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's got a gut shot. If a 6 comes up, he's got a straight.
Now, if you're right here, I mean, he checks. I was going to say, you move all in. I mean, that's the pot bet, right? I mean, he has the best hand. And everybody checked. Well, the turn's a 3 now.
That doesn't change anything.
And ace-high is still good. And now Raid's going to throw out a, looks like a $300 bet.
Kind of smells like ace-king, doesn't it? The problem is, can anybody make a move on him? Does he have enough money to get away from the hand?
$300 bet into a pot that was $900, so it's $1,250 here. Again, yeah, it's like you look at it. I mean, is there fold equity? He's got about $600 left. If I move all in, the pot's going to be over $2,000.
Yeah.
And he probably would fold though with one card to come there. I mean,
Actually, he's got closer to 900. Yeah, you're right. He probably would fold that.
Everybody ready?
There are sometimes where your opponent is so short stacked
Right.
that they bet in with ace king. You know they have ace king, but you can't get him off the hand.
Yeah. Yeah, if everybody agrees, it's 800. You can win 800.
Well, I see Bart is a little upset because nobody has registered for the Knockout Bart tournament
Not
at LA
tonight,
Poker
yeah.
Scene. So there are still 4 days to register, folks, but do not get locked out. Only 100 people will
That way,
join.
if he wins it,
I kind of predict a late flurry at the end of it all.
yeah, all the way. It's just nothing. There's no betting or anything. It's just on
I think we're going to do one of these $100 all-ins again, Dave, but we're going to see the cards this time, hopefully. So we're going to ask the dealer to slow down. We actually need about 10 seconds when all the cards are dealt so Ronnie can get the cards up. And this is going to be an event for Ronnie.
And how many players are in?
Everyone's in. All the players have to leave their cards in the window, and we have to wait for the flop.
Yeah, we're just. Oh, did you put in 100?
Everybody.
He put it. Yeah, he put it.
Must leave your cards down so they can put it up.
Okay.
And we're going to have to wait for the flop.
Keep dealing. Deal around.
How many cards?
And this is pure luck fest, folks. This is the lottery. Who's going to win the $800?
All right, so we're going to have to pause here for about 20 seconds here.
Well, let's look at him here really quick. Best hand right now looks
You
like
guys want to do it first and then put turn
King
them up at
4,
one at a time?
right?
Turn one over.
But really funny here, a lot of players have King 4.
Hang on.
Leave the cards in the window so we can all get them up.
I'm winning this
Put
again.
them all up on the screen so everybody can see.
Okay. This one. You do get me dominated? Oh, that's bad. So let's just flip one. Can we flip one at a time?
Uh-oh, this is the one that won it for me last time.
Now the King 4, seat 1, Glenn has got King 4 also. And Glenn's got to put both cards in there.
No, we're still not done putting the cards up.
Still not done, guys.
All right, now I think we got it now.
Anybody want a side bet?
Yeah, we got it now.
I got to tell you, I like Jack 10. Seat 4, Eli's got Jack 10 of hearts.
Yeah,
like
we
his
got
hand.
it now.
I like Eli's hand here.
All right. Hold on.
Now, this is a pure luck fest, folks. The winner wins $900.
Yeah, King High, King 3.
Whose idea was this?
Fucking guy has my hand.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Eli's hand against this field here.
Yeah, well, look at George's hand. George has got a king 3, and he's up against 2 king 4s.
Oh, the kings are dead.
You see the 7s are all dead.
And they might
almost.
make some side bets here, I think I heard.
Me and you will chop it. All right, let's go.
Well, Mike always wants to gamble.
Here we go to the flop.
I tell you, I like Eli's hands.
7.
Here we go.
I tell you,
Wow,
Put a 10
Queen,
up
Jack,
there.
9.
Put a
Eli's
10
got a
up there one
straight
time.
draw with a
Put
jack.
a 10 up there. We'll take a shot.
Mike's got Queen 7.
Yeah.
Turn is an
8, 9, 10,
8.
Jack, Queen.
Eli's got the straight.
And so Eli has the straight with the 10, and the river's a 5. Eli's going to take it there.
What'd I tell you? I told you I liked Eli's hands.
He would have been the only one that won.
Yep.
Against that field, I loved Eli's hands. And Eli wins. I swear, Eli is he's like Mr. Luck Bucket.
Right.
Wins himself $800
Doesn't
there.
matter. You would have gotten.
Now, the funny thing is that this is actually inherently a small negative edge. Because everyone has the same odds, but of course you're going to lose money to the rake. So you're probably like at a negative 0.5% every time you do this, right? I'm seriously talking about expected value because of the rake.
Guess so.
Yeah.
No, he keeps the buttons.
I mean, I guess you'll, you should win. Theoretically, you should win. You'll win $800. No, I'm sorry. You'll win $796. 1 out of 9 times.
Right.
And the other 8 times, you'll lose $800.
Right.
So every 9 times, you'll be down $4.
Right. So that's actually less than that, I think. Less than negative.
Yeah. You will lose $4 every 9 times you do this. Okay.
Button moves over here to seat 9.
How about it? The camera's here doing
Now, what is your opinion on doing that?
I mean, I guess if you just want to gamble, a pure gamble.
Well, let's say you're at this table, Bart, and 7 players are doing it. Will you be the party pooper, or will you toss 100?
No, I mean, if the table's good, I'm not going to be the party.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I was going to say that. I was like, if the table's a lot of action and the
Right.
players are gambling, you don't want to appear to be the one that's not gambling.
Wow, look at this. George has flopped a set here again. Ace-5 for Glenn and Ace-6 for Eli. And Eli's going to come out and lead.
Well, this will be interesting. Let's see how it's played.
I mean, look at that flop. He's playing Ace-6 off suit. I mean, you just don't have no idea where you're at. And George is not going to slow play this one.
Good for him.
Not with this board, I don't think.
And is Glenn going to
Wait a
get
minute.
like,
He just did. He did. Yeah,
No.
he made a mini raise here to 200.
I like the raise.
Yeah.
And let's see if Glenn gets involved here. He lost a lot of money with a weak ace before, and he's not going to get involved this time. Learn his lesson.
Now Mike's got Deuce-6. He doesn't get involved.
But
Now,
Eli's going to call.
The funny thing about Mike is if 5 were to come, he would have a higher straight than the other one-card wheel straight there.
And he's actually calling an original another $200 here.
Yeah, this is an Eli's Tron is super slim. The worst card for him would be the case ace here. Here we go to the turn. Turns a 9.
Yeah. You almost want a heart for Eli to come out to kill George's action, but let's see what happens here. The pot is about $600, folks, and he's going to bet, looks like 500 into it.
Yeah. Boy, if you're Eli here, has he been paying attention all day?
The pot is $1,100, 500 to call. All you can beat a straight draw, and you can beat a heart draw, but obviously your ace is garbage here. Pretty much no better than a bluff catcher, right?
And the way that George slow played bottom set was a little differently on the flop before. Wow, I can't believe Eli's going to make this call. Wow,
And
he's
this pot is-
giving money away to George. And the river's a 5. Wow, well, that might be action killer.
Oh, that can't be an action killer. You've got to bet this if you're George. The pot is about $2,000, and
Yeah.
he's going to bet it. Good for him.
He's going to bet
500 again.
500 again. A little bit of a value bet here.
Yeah, it kind of screams, I want to call. But if you're Eli now, if you're Eli and you actually call the turn,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you call the river?
Well, now there's absolutely nothing that you can beat.
Well, no, I
Except
mean,
busted hearts.
Well, I'm trying
Except
to think.
busted
Well,
hearts.
if you put George on a straight draw,
Yeah.
and I mean he either had deuce 5. Okay, well the deuce got there. I'm sorry, deuce 5 is already there. He either has 5-6 or he has hearts, and neither one can beat your ace. Right? I'm just saying, if you put him on
If
the
he
draw.
had 5-6, yep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Eli makes the call, and George is going to take it down. Oh, boy, that's like a $3,000 pot there with a set of threes.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't have to play a lot of hands, obviously. I mean,
I love the value bet by George. He probably could have bet more like 800 on the river. He probably still would have gotten paid, I think.
And how did you feel on the river?
But all Eli could beat there was a busted draw, right?
Okay, thank you for playing live.
got about 10 minutes left in the show.
And I'm really glad George did not scare himself into not betting the river there.
These are live interviews right here.
Well
right
played.
from the table.
And by playing it fast there, he actually made the most money by raising the flop and then continuing to bet on the turn and the river. He made the most possible money.
Maybe I'll get a hand in if I stretch.
Well, you can't really slow play that flop. I mean, that's really connected, isn't it? Ace, what is it? Ace 4-5 with 2 hearts.
Yeah.
Or ace.
The
deuce-
funniest
ace-
thing is, but the funniest thing is we always point out is oftentimes you're not slow playing not because your hand might be no good, but you don't want to slow play because a card might come out that kills your action.
Double bet.
Got an email here from Ben Powell, and I'd love to get to it in a heartbeat. So just give us 1 second.
Got a little raise here by Seth with Ace Jack. Eli
Raising
calls.
in the big blind, huh? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was a raise.
No, he was in
Right,
there.
he raised an early position. I apologize.
Kenna calls with 10-3 of clubs. Eli's in there with King 3. Oh, here we go.
Lobster.
Queen Jack 5 here. Seth's got the best hand here with the Ace Jack.
I mean, Eli called a raise with King 3 offsuit. You think maybe a little steam there after losing with Ace 6?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit.
And Seth's going to take this down. Interesting email here. Ben Powell actually says, you can't make blanket statements like 14 outs makes you a favorite. Every situation is different, and your equity depends on what your opponents are holding. And that is 100% true there. Good email by Ben Powell. It's more of a kind of, when we say 14 outs makes you a favorite, it's more of a kind of a rough guesstimate.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like if you're sitting there with your hand and you kind of start calculating how many outs you think you have, it kind of gives you a rough estimate of what your chances are of winning the pot. Obviously, every situation is different.
The button moves over here to Gil.
But a good email to point that out. Thank you, Ben. Whalecock's come up with the idea. He says the new segment should be called Stern Fan Poker Roundtable. But we'll think about that one. Thank
Wow,
you,
it gets
Whalecock.
limped around here, and Eli's going to raise with Ace 3 offsuit in the small blind. He's going to make it 150 to go, and Kenna James instantly calls him. And again, you know, you might pick out the guy who might be still steaming a little bit here. I mean, Ace 3 here, obviously he's probably trying to pick out the limpers, but now he's going to have to play this hand out of position. And seat number 1 is called, we can only see one of his cards.
Ken is open-ended here with 9-10.
Queen, Jack, Jack here on the flop. C1's got Ace, Deuce of Hearts. The turn's a 9.
Well, Ken has now got a pair with the open-ended straight draw.
Now, we had a bet on the flop, right?
No, it actually, I think it might checked around, didn't it?
Couldn't quite see.
It checked around, okay.
And now Ace 3 checks again.
Ken is going to take that cue, and he's going to bet it. I imagine he's going to take this down here. I mean, neither player has a pair or a draw. It's one of the problems with raising Ace 3 from out of position. I mean, what are you going to do now? Yeah, and Ken is going to take it down, obviously. Best hands. Best draw.
Yep.
Thank you. Got the filet mignon back.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
I mean, oftentimes you're sitting at a table and you try to figure out, you know, should I call this guy? Do I have the right odds to make this call? And oftentimes, you know, obviously you can't get out your calculator and start figuring out what the percentage is.
Right.
So it's one of the reasons why I actually like your kind of like, you know, multiply it by 4 or multiply it by 2 rule.
My specialty. He'll tell you it's my specialty.
We get a raise here to 120. Seat number 9 is going to raise to 120 with pocket jacks.
Okay. You know what we're looking for? 4s and 5s.
Heads up.
It's going to be
Bottom set here on this board. Ace, Queen, Jack. That's not Kenna's flop. And then
Yeah,
he just
well-
open folds it,
How you
Dave.
like that? Huh?
Well, Kenna wanted 4s and 5s. He said he wanted it.
How
He wanted his
strong
straight draw.
is this? I even took the guy's thunder away. There you go.
What did you say again? At least how bad luck I had. What did you say?
I didn't even give it.
Now this is wait. Raid is saying how bad luck he has. This guy had 7 final tables at the LA Poker Classic.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Let's take a look at another chip count here with George now leading the table.
Yeah, up over 30,000 for the table. Look at that.
Well, let's take a look at what these players are at here.
George suddenly now the big winner.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's probably the player that plays the least amount of hands.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of illustrates. You said it before. You don't have to play a lot of hands.
I did.
Ace
Make
Queen
money.
offsuit here for seat 4. That's Eli.
Well,
And again, we don't mean to get on Eli, but he just has definitely. I mean, he made a big suck up with some of the plays that he's made tonight. I mean, you knew this was going to happen eventually, right?
You'd imagine so. I mean, obviously, once again, we're kind of trashing on his game, not him.
Right, right.
Seems like a nice enough guy. I don't really know him.
Right.
But let's be honest. The two places where he's won most money is where they kind of all went blind for $100.
Right.
And where he sucked out.
Eli makes it 1:30 to go. Ken is going to call with 9:10 off.
And I think Kennett is calling the player here. Don't you think, in position?
I like pass out $100.
Well, I don't know if the guy showed down the ace-6, but
Okay, good point.
king 6-4. Well, that's not the flop you're looking for with ace-queen. Let's see if Eli continues to bet here. He bets 200.
A little bit of continuation bet there.
Yeah, Ken is not going to get involved here.
Okay.
About 7 minutes left in tonight's show, folks. Don't forget to catch us tomorrow night for a no-limit hold'em, 25-50 blinds.
Butt moves over here to seat 6.
That's dead money.
That's what they call me. That's actually my nickname.
Dead money, Mike.
Dead money here.
Oh, this is so painful.
Dealer Austin. Run the action. Go home.
Once again, if you want to play in our 7-card stud high-low tournament, winning the green starts at $4.15 tomorrow. It's a $300 buy-in tournament. And then Thursday, the tournament returns to no limit hold'em. Starts at 4:15 p.m. It's also a $300 buy-in tournament starting once again 4:15. 3 ways, limped around, $60 pot, and it's a queen 5-3. Mike's got top pair, and neither player hardly has anything.
Nice you could join.
Mike's got about $60
here.
Oh well, George is actually in the hand. We cannot see what he has though.
Yep, he's on the button. We can see a king.
And he's got
8-3.
He's got bottom pair.
Well, see if he's going to play Mike. The turn's a 4. Now Mike has 2 pair. You know he's not going anywhere now. And he leads in again.
Now the interesting thing is, if Mike checks that, maybe he lets George bluff again like he did last time. Remember?
But usually George doesn't play in that manner.
No, usually he doesn't, but he did bluff before, and you wonder if George was trying to set it up this time.
You're gonna show it, dude.
And George is in bad shape there. He's going to let it go.
I'm sure he had to do.
You count on my hand. I had queen deuce, so if you had queen deuce.
Interesting post here on 2+2 by Clayton.
Yeah.
He says, Bart, the edge, and we're talking about the $100 all-in blind hand. He said, Bart, the edge may seem small negative EV when you factor the rake, but you also need to consider the advantage in stack equity you get from that additional X amount of chips, which probably negates the negative dollars from the rake. Well, that's an interesting point, but remember, this is an unrestricted buy-in game, right? So you can always bring those chips onto the table.
Right, it's not a tournament.
Yeah, it's not. When we're playing a cash game, you can bring it out of your pocket at any time.
But if you feel like having a lot of money on the table
Right.
is a big edge, well, then just bring a lot of money on the table.
Exactly. Pocket queens over here for Raid. He's in the big blind.
Jack deuce. I want a big pot with that.
Wow, look at that. George's drinking a Long Island iced tea over there in seat 6.
Wow. I really got to get in this game.
Yeah.
It's okay? You do it? All right. No, yeah, we're ready for it. Oh, you know what's sore? I'm going to tell you what's sore.
Limped around here. Let's see if Raid, how much he's going to jack it up here in the big blind. He's going to make it 100 more here. White chip.
And I imagine we're going to see this 3 ways now. The pot is about, I want to say about $360.
So sore. Oh, sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Ace, King, 10 here with a couple of clubs. Oh. Raid's facing 2 overcards
Yeah,
here.
it's a pretty ugly flop for 2 queens there. At least he has the queen of clubs in his hand.
And he got checked to Seth, and he's going to bet. Seth actually called the raise from the button with Jack 5 suited. And boy, with queens here, it's just like, oh yeah, it's.
Well,
He's going to make the check call, Dave.
Let me throw this at you. Now, I know, obviously, I have no problem with just checking folding queens in that
Right.
case. But do you ever just throw the continuation bet and kind of see where you're at?
Right. Here we go to the turn.
Because now you have no idea where
Well,
you're at.
turn's the third club, but now Raid's got a flush draw. And Seth is going to bet 800. Again, that brown chip's 500 with 2 whites. And boy, that's really, really putting Raid to the test now.
Dave.
And Raid is going to call.
And did you get a little tell from there from Seth's face? Seth was kind of looking at Raid, and the second Raid put the money in there, you saw his face fall.
And you know what? This is pretty much going to put Raid all in, I think.
Well,
He's still got some money left.
Now, this is the question.
The issue
Yeah.
here is, has Seth left himself enough money to bluff the river, right?
you wonder, the pot is about, what, 2,400?
It's real big right now. Here we go to the river. Well, the river's another ace.
You can't beat a king now. And if he moves all in, no.
Nope, Seth just gives up because, again, when we talk about the fact that it looks like Raid might have only had about 500 left, and the pot was about 2,000. So you've really got to be aware.
Maybe the best way to play it was maybe a $500 bet on the turn and then move all in on the river?
Yeah, smaller bet. Remember, we saw that. This actually brought the That's Allen comment up. We're going to take a look at the last hand here of the night because we had a guy, Eugene, who we actually haven't seen on the show since that night. You can call it misplaying, but what he was trying to do was bluff Allen off of a hand. But he had built up a pot so much that by the time the river came, he only could bluff $700 into a $5,000 pot, and Allen called him with bottom pair.
Yeah.
And when you think of it, it might even be the right call.
Yeah.
When you're talking about that type of money.
Yeah,
You really got to think that through, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you put a big bet on the turn in, and if you're playing against somewhat of a calling station, sometimes they'll call you with any draw,
Right.
but they would fold on the river to a big bet if they missed their draw.
Right. And Seth just tried, basically bluffed off about $1,200 there.
Yeah.
And he hasn't played many hands either, and that pretty much represented most of his stack.
I gotta protect my straddle.
Last hand of the night here, folks. Corporation Mike straddles. And Kennel raised it up here to 140 with 8-9.
And this is 3 ways here.
And Seth here might be steaming. He doesn't have enough chips to make that call with Jack 7, but he does. Ace 8-4 here on the flop.
Only because I already had it in my hand.
And I guess Ken is going to make the continuation here with the pair of 8s.
Yeah, he's got middle pair. That's good. Well, Mike actually, he's got a wheel draw here with deuce 5.
With 2 diamonds out there, I'm not sure if he's going to get involved.
Yep.
Oh, he's thinking it. Was that like
He
a
said
fake
time.
fold?
He said time.
Oh, I thought.
He said time. Push his cards forward. Look
Oh,
at
you
it.
know why? I'll tell you why he said. He's got a problem. He doesn't want to give up the hand, but he doesn't have a hand. So he's like, what do I do?
Oh, there's Nicole.
You know what I mean? He says, what can I
The
possibly
lovely, the luscious Nicole.
And look, Ken is reading this guy like a book.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give up the hand, but he doesn't have a hand.
Then he shows his hand
And
to
then
George.
I think Ken actually continued to saying, he goes, Mike's actually probably thinking, what can I actually do here to win this pot?
Mike doesn't look too pleased.
Yeah,
It's
look at him.
so possible. He's got like 5. He's got like 5-9 thinking.
Pretty close, man. Wow.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Again, stick around tomorrow night for our $3,000 min, unrestricted buy-in game, 25-50 no limit. Going to even play bigger than this game. So for everyone here in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.